Chapter 12:14. Overwhelming Tactics. Chapter 12:14. Overwhelming Tactics. Proofreader, Papatonks. Why do you say that, Steward Zhua? Zhao Chen frowned. Zhua Fan smiled as he stood, taking a couple of steps. When two fight, the third reaps the reward. Demonic Emperor Sir is heroic, but against two others the odds aren't looking favorable. You may even win, but the losses will be devastating and turn into a loss in the end, while the other emperors will use this chance to seize Sir's lands. In short, war will only bring downsides. Like in the war between the Falcon Emperor and the Wraith Emperor. What did Sir do? You think I don't know that? Zhao Chen sighed. It's not I who started this fight, but the other two geezers coming at me. Not defending will be the same as handing over the land, losing not only territory but my name too. With the world seeing me weak, no one would turn to me for protection. Zhua Fan nodded. Yes, by not fighting the losses will be greater, making the war a must. However, it shouldn't be Sir who fights. Who else then? They came especially to fight me. Let those lurking from the sidelines fight. That's the best tactic. Zhua Fan wore a sneaky smile. Any that joins it has to suffer. Why doesn't Sir just have those spectators hop into the fray, while you take their place instead, as the third party? Zhao Chen started. You want me to look for allies? But who would aid me at such a time? There's two emperors coming as well. Any allies I find, if I do find any, would at most give a lofty speech only to be a no-show when the war starts. Demonic Emperor Sir, it's not seeking allies but adversaries. You fight alongside allies, unlike with adversaries. They do the work while we watch without lifting a finger. Steward Zhua, are you in your right mind? Zhao Chen stared hard then cracked up. Ha ha ha, Steward Zhua. Where are we supposed to find such Nimrods? I don't know of any among the 8 emperors who'd be that stupid to waste his strength. Zhua Fan smiled. Of course there aren't any foolish enough to do it, and recruiting adversaries comes with a price, even the 8 emperors. What price would that be? Zhao Chen asked. Zhua Fan's grin widened, stressing every word. Demonic Emperor Sir, have you managed to decipher the Nether Sea map by any chance? You want to give the map? Not happening. Zhua Fan shook his head, denying such an idea. The Nether Sea map is the only clue to the Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment. It's invaluable. Why should I just hand it over? What if they decipher it? The map is too abstruse for common eyes to unravel. The gambling emperor wouldn't have bet it otherwise. We're not going to use the real map either, but a copy. The real thing will stay with Sir. No, what if they can still crack it? We can just tamper with it, making it impossible. Tampering it and they still won't notice. Demonic Emperor Sir, please take out the map and allow me a look. Zhua Fan bowed. Squinting, Zhao Chen finally relented, and took out the map after a long pause. Zhua Fan approached casually and pointed. Sir, the map has countless black circles. All we have to do is just add more here while taking there, when we make a copy. No one will figure it out, not even the gambling emperor. The right and left corners are similar, as well, so we can just switch them with none the wiser. Even put side by side with the original, who would notice? You could stare at it till you go blind, and still won't figure it out. Zhao Chen nodded and exclaimed. Steward Zhua's tactic is ingenious. With a few subtle changes on the already abstruse map, no one will notice. Now we have a bargaining chip. Getting something for nothing, ha ha ha. Only who should we make a deal with? With who yearns for the map the most? Zhua Fan pace. In Gambling Town, the gambling emperor threw the map into a bet so he won't value it. Or maybe he already owns a copy. The other representatives might want the map. Only 2 yearn for it. The Ruby Cloud sect tried using a honey trap on me to give them a copy. The Sword Emperor's representative even cut off his own toes in the betting. Talking with them would be far more successful. Zhao Chen gave an approving nod. Sir is truly sharp. I'm fortunate to have you. I'll contact the 2 right away. One moment. Zhua Fan intervened. Demonic Emperor Sir, no need to be hasty. All know our circumstances, and are sure to make heavy demands if we just go to them with the map. Heed my advice, Sir, and they would be more than willing to work for us. Zhao Chen's face twitched. staring long at Zhuofan. Having Sir with me is like gaining a gem. Then I'll leave the overwhelming alliance to Sir. Just doing my duty, sir. Zhuofan bowed, exchanged a couple more words, and left with Bali Yu. His first goal was the Ruby Cloud sect, where Chu Qingqing was. The failed deal in the gambling town would be finished this time. Whoosh! Arriving before the Ruby Cloud sect's territory, a dozen girls blocked their way, with Fang's men in the lead. Zhuofan snickered, shouting, "Girlie, go tell them that I represent the demonic emperor, and have come to see the enchanting empress on important business." "Humph, rotten punk, like we haven't had enough of your tricks last time. Now you have the nerve to come to the Ruby Cloud sect. You're looking to die." Fang Min huffed, preparing to attack Zhuofan. "Sisters, rip this arrogant bastard to shreds." Yes. The girls went on the offensive, aiming for Zhuofan. The heavy pressure befell Zhuofan, a bone-tempering cultivator, bound to flatten him. Whoosh! Bali Yu flashed in front, sending a casual ice sword wave at them. Bam! The dozen girls coughed blood, and were flung away like flies. They should thank their lucky stars that Bali Yu went easy, or there would have been nothing left of them. Bali Yu sneered and Zhuofan stepped forward. "I represent the demonic emperor. Attacking me is attacking, sir. Does Ruby Cloud sect want a war with Devil Mountain?" "Humph, the demonic emperor is cornered. Can he spare energy against another enemy?" A mocking tone came, followed by a familiar figure. Zhuofan perked up. "If it isn't Senior Aunt May, how've you been? You dare call me that? Just like Qingqing does." Zhuofan beamed without a trace of shame. Mei Sangu recalled Zhuofan giving her that foul handiwork and cursed, "Damn cretin! I have a score to settle with you for last time." "TCH, so you found out, eh? Here I thought the biddy would take ages." Bali Yu mocked. Mei Sangu's ears twitched, clenching her fists. She knew the girl was more than she looked, and winning would not be easy. She couldn't put her in her place. Zhuofan laughed. "I'll give you all the explanations you want for last time. The real issue is now. I represent the demonic emperor, but you're just keeping me at the door? Ha, and what of it? Devil Mountain's newest servant only knows how to abuse his status." "Ha ha ha, Mei Sangu, how is it any different from you?" Zhuofan was grave. "Being the demonic emperor's representative isn't anything great. But that's not for you to say, since you're not worthy. I'm the demonic emperor's representative, here to see the Ruby Cloud sect leader for a deal. Only your sect leader can send me away, for she is the Ruby Cloud sect. Senior Aunt May, are you perhaps that representative? Isn't this a power play? Did the enchanting empress die?" "Why you?" Mei Sangu's face twitched in anger, ready to explode. She wanted nothing more than to flatten him under her heel. But the only option she had was to bottle up her fury. Not only was Bali Yu an unknown guard that she had no confidence winning against, Zhuofan was unfortunately right. He was the demonic emperor's representative, and this involved the relations between Devil Mountain and the Ruby Cloud sect. She had no right to take charge here. What a darn shame. A bone-tempering bug had such power, but not her. Mei Sangu's anger flared once more. Dealing with Zhuofan was like losing 5,000 years of her lifespan. Chapter 12:15, Pressing Urge. Chapter 12:15, Pressing Urge. Proofreader, Papatonks. Senior Aunt May, kill him already. Shut up. Are you an idiot to not see I can't? Fang Min rushed her, but Mei Sangu took out her anger on her instead. Dumb girl, you think I don't want to? Zhuofan watched the play with an even smugger grin of disdain. Whoosh! A new figure came before them, and Zhuofan cried in joy. Qingqing. Senior Aunt May, Master invited them into the hall. Chu Qingqing was icy, only bowing to Master and leaving right after. Zhuofan figured out why and shook his head. Using that stained paper must have angered her. Bali Yu shoved his shoulder to express. Aren't you going to explain? Don't have to, since anything said at this point won't reach her. Zhuofan smiled broadly as he walked under the girl's guidance into the sect. They reached a quaint hall with a mature woman sitting on a high chair. Zhuofan knew her to be the enchanting empress of the 8 emperors. It's been a while, old crone. The enchanting empress sized him up as he entered, smiling. Steward Zhua? Please sit. Senior Enchanting Empress. Zhua Fan cupped his hands, sitting in a bamboo chair, with Bali Yu sitting next to him. Mei Sangu and the disciples stood on the Enchanting Empress's side, never leaving the two out of their sights. Steward Zhua is from Joytown? Your name is bringing me unpleasant memories. Sipping her tea, Enchanting Empress pointed out. He was authoritarian like you. Looking at Steward Zhua is like seeing him. I wonder if there's a connection. Zhua Fan smiled. The demonic emperor said the same thing when he saw me, but I was born and raised in the Luo clan. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but the name was bestowed by clan head himself. Oh, it's fine. Just recalling an old friend of days long past. Old friend? Of yours and the demonic emperor? Zhua Fan said. I'm quite curious if he's so alike me. Why would both seniors have the same reaction? Maybe your old friend must be quite amazing. I would like to hear more, ha ha ha. The Enchanting Empress stared hard and shook her head. The same yet different. Only the first impression is similar. Our friend never joked, was brooding and dark like ice like a viper. Steward Zhua is calm by comparison amiable. Really? The demonic emperor said the same, ha ha ha. Zhua Fan sipped his own tea, his eyes flashing. Similar yet not, but actually also the same because I was reborn. Zhua Fan came from the demonic emperor Zhua Yifan, but that man had long ago died. The one before you is just Zhua Fan, who experienced so much in the mortal domain. The Enchanting Empress, you will never see my past image no matter how much you scrutinize me. Zhua Fan smirked and placed down the cup. Good tea, hibiscus and fresh water, soothing the heart and calming HD mind. It's just like Ruby Cloud Sect, fragrant and filled with a woman's energy. Steward Zhua knows his tea. Ruby Cloud Sect's mountain tea is gathered by our maidens with the tip of their tongue in early spring, when they're still pure. No other place has such quality. Tip of the tongue, you say? Zhua Fan rose an eyebrow, looking on the tea tray. Which is Ching Ching's? I'll have 10 kilos of it, thanks. The girls turned from him to Chu Qingqing giggling. The Enchanting Empress smiled as well. Chu Qingqing blushed, glaring at him, and warning him not to be frivolous. Zhua Fan was still looking through the teacups, ignoring her fiery stare. Steward Zhua is so funny. You're nothing like him, ha ha ha. The Enchanting Empress turned serious, having enough pleasantries. We've talked for so long yet I've yet to know what the demonic emperor's representative is doing here. Unsuccessful in his noble pursuit, Zhua Fan placed the tea at the side and smiled. Nothing much, just a bargain to discuss with the Enchanting Empress. Bargain? Exactly. Zhua Fan grew serious. Enchanting Empress must have heard by now that Sir is about to fight with the Falcon Emperor and the Wraith Emperor. They're testing the waters now, with ill intent. The demonic emperor thus wishes to ask the Enchanting Empress to step in and mediate. Upon success, a great reward awaits you. The Enchanting Empress's brow shook. So that's why you're here. The Wraith Emperor and Falcon Emperor aren't easy to deal with either. With their ill tempers, they would hardly give me any attention. The only reason the two started this war is because they have Sir outnumbered. But Enchanting Empress, by coming forth and standing with Sir, it will be a tie. They would never try anything at that point, and everyone would just fall back. The people would be fortunate to be spared from such a calamity. I see. The demonic emperor wants my support to intimidate them. The Enchanting Empress squinted then refused. Steward Zhua can return to the demonic emperor, for the Ruby Cloud Sect is not about to join such an ill event. Enchanting Empress, we've yet to speak our terms. Maybe they'll be to your liking? There's no need. Stepping in can force the two to withdraw. But what about later? Their hatred would be directed at me. I'm not that narrow-minded to take such little gain and earn two emperors' disfavor. The Enchanting Empress waved him off. Steward Zhua, you can leave. Send them on their way, girls. Disciples came over at once and offered, after you. Looking at her, and then at the hesitant Chu Qingqing, Zhua Fan sneered. He nodded and stood. I worked hard to convince the demonic emperor to win the Enchanting Empress over. But alas, ma'am is cold. I'll just have to take it up with the Sword Emperor, and let him have the Nether Sea map. Wait! Enchanting Empress shouted at his words. What did you say, the Nether Sea map? That's your term, the Nether Sea map? Zhuofan nodded. It is, but not the original, just a copy. Copy? You have the nerve to say that? Mei Sango flipped at the mere mention of the word. I still haven't paid you back for the last copy you gave me, and now you bring your dirty rags here again. The enchanting empress was grave, staring at him. Zhuofan snickered. I was about to mention that. When I raised the proposal, I said I would risk my life to copy the map if you give me Qingcheng. But what do? Return to the sect and leave me hanging. I'm not as gullible as Qingcheng to believe your lies. But she insisted on having it, or she would be scolded. I thus promised her, and gave her a map. Zhuofan bent backward, sticking out his waist very suggestively, his tone a mockery. Ain't this a map as well? While not Nether Sea map, by any means, but I would rather have you spit fire at me instead of Qingcheng. Zhuofan. Chu Qingcheng was touched and looked her heart melted. The enchanting empress was grave. And now? Is the map real this time? Of course, the demonic emperor personally offered the deal, so it can't be anything less than genuine. Zhuofan shouted. The demonic emperor planned to go for the head of the 8 emperors first, the sword emperor. He just had to show up, and the other 2 would easily fall back. But I miss Qingcheng and hope to give the Ruby Cloud sect some help. Thus I persuade the demonic emperor to find another worthy ally, recommending the enchanting empress. I did all this so that Qingcheng and I could be together. I'm doing this out of personal interest, since the sword emperor is enough to force the 2 back. So why even bother making another map? Enchanting empress nodded. How can we be sure the map is real? When we give you the copy, we'll bring the real map as well, so that you can see for yourself. You may also ask the gambling emperor to inspect it for any flaws. In that case, we agree to the demonic emperor's proposal. The enchanting empress shouted with resolve. Since this involved the sword emperor, the falcon emperor and wraith emperor would not direct their anger towards her. The sword emperor was there to take the lead, and she'd be safe. Chapter 12:16. Meeting the Sword Emperor again. Chapter 12:16. Meeting the Sword Emperor again. Proofreader, Papatonks. With the agreement coming to a close, Zhuofan and Bali Yu said their goodbyes. The enchanting empress had someone walk them out, urging them to talk about the details later. The enchanting empress gazed into the distance once they were gone, sighing. I can see why a bone-tempering cultivator got such a high position. He has a knack for it. The rash demonic emperor can be said to be soaring to new heights now. Senior sister, you believe he? From his proposal, not only could I not find any reason to refuse, but I also lost the right to haggle. Humph. The brat poses as demonic emperor's representative, but he's smooth enough to make it look like we're the ones winning in this deal. The enchanting empress's eyes shone. Qingcheng had no chance against his guile, thoroughly charmed. Sango, watch Qingcheng closely. Don't let him take her. Mei Sango nodded. Senior sister, I know exactly Qingcheng's value. I won't let that nameless brat touch one hair on her. The enchanting empress nodded and smiled. In front of the Ruby Cloud sect, a sudden shout stopped the 2 from leaving. Wait! Knowing full well why, Zhuofan put on a smile as he turned to his intended. Qingcheng, you don't have to send us off. I still need to pay the Sword Emperor a visit. I would much rather be with you and go through a wedding, even raising a cute baby. Sigh, busy. Cut that out. Who'd ever? Chu Qingcheng blushed and glared at him. Then she whispered, Zhuofan, forgive me for getting the wrong idea about before. I thought you only wanted. My feelings for you are genuine. You don't have to say anything. You'll come to see it in time. Zhuofan held her soft hand and pecked her cute cheek. One day I will take you away from the Ruby Cloud sect. Feeling her cheeks burning, Chu Qingcheng showed no anger, just lowering her head. She gave a faint nod and a smile filled with joy. Zhuofan said his goodbye, leaving with Bali Yu's piercing stare on him. Chu Qingcheng watched them go, her deep gaze filled with emotion. 3 months later, on a lofty mountain range, 2 people walked by. Looking up at the few clouds surrounding a glorious palace, Zhuofan smiled and cupped his hands. I represent the demonic emperor and request a meeting with the sword emperor. Whoosh! 30 people surrounded them the next instant, holding swords or blades that glinted in the sun. Zhuo Fan cared not, while Bali Yu showed disdain. You call that a sword? Zhuo Fan, you have some nerve coming here when we still have a score to settle from Mist City. A familiar voice echoed as a man stepped out of the encirclement. Zhuo Fan smirked, cupping his hands. If it isn't young Master Su Zhensheng, it's been a while. Don't you give me that. Su Zhensheng sneered. You're just looking to get killed, aren't you? In Gambling Town, the Gambling Emperor's turf, we couldn't touch you. But now here you are, in our own lands. You're practically begging for it. Brothers, sword formation. Kill the bastard and take revenge for Elder Lu. Yes. The men pointed their swords at him, and a net shot for the two to cut them down. Bali Yu flashed in front of Zhuo Fan, releasing her power. Thunder echoed as icy lightning sword aura spread everywhere. Boom! Upon contact, a deafening explosion tore the skies. The 30 swords were reduced to splinters, littering the ground. Their users, however, recoiled from the outburst of power and coughed blood. They slammed on the ground, too wounded to get up. Su Zhensheng squinted in shock, his voice shaking. Why you dare raise your hand in the Sword Emperor's land? You'll get yours, mark my words. Once I get my senior uncles, you're dead. And, do they represent Sword Emperor Ao Changtian? Zhuo Fan sneered. Brother Zhensheng, you have to understand. I'm here on behalf of the demonic emperor to discuss with the Sword Emperor. As the Sword Emperor's disciple, instead of walking us in, you attacked us. It's not just disrespectful to the demonic emperor, but you have disgraced your Sword Emperor. Are his disciples so cocky to find him beneath them? Now you won't even allow his guests to see him? Is he held prisoner in there? Why you? Su Zhensheng choked, unable to speak as he sweated buckets. Right, this is undermining authority. It mustn't reach Master's ears or I'm dead. Whoosh! Another old face showed up then, dressed in white, and having an elegant demeanor. Though he had no legs and floated, the elder gave them a dark look, shouting, The Sword Emperor will see you. Thank you. Zhuo Fan leaned and walked ahead. Bali Yu gave the old guy a look and followed. Elder Lu. Su Zhensheng began, but the man held up a hand. The Sword Emperor will handle everything. The old man led the way with Su Zhensheng at his side. The four reached a magnificent hall, with 18 lofty pillars looking like divine swords, majestic and kingly. In the center seat stood an old man with a white beard, a face covered in scars and a sharp gaze. What strong sword energy! Bali Yu grew grave, clenching her fists. The old man made her feel threatened, in serious danger of dying. Zhuo Fan grinned. Sword Emperor Ao Changtian, we meet after so long. What comes around goes around. With me gone, the second best for 10,000 years finally got the throne, ha ha ha. Whoosh! A cold wave flashed and Bali Yu caught a cold blade between her fingers. It was 7 feet long, covered in intricate dragon patterns. The tip was aiming straight for Zhuo Fan's forehead, merely an inch from killing him. That was too close. Bali Yu gasped, knowing it was for Zhuo Fan. She looked back at Sword Emperor on his chair. He stared at her as well, then laughed. Girl, good skills. Who taught you? Family legacy. Bali Yu stared at him with anger in her eyes. What does Senior Sword Emperor mean by this? Elder Lu floated on a seat next to Sword Emperor, looking coldly at the two. Su Zhensheng stood at his side. Sword Emperor began. The boy took my junior brother's legs and thinks that being the demonic emperor's representative would absolve him of it. But you're only going to leave this place without your legs. What? Bali Yu glared at him. You want Steward Zhuo's legs? I don't think so. Ha ha ha. You've lost any right the minute you entered my domain. I want his legs and nothing more out of respect for that demonic emperor brat. Or did you think I'd stop there otherwise? The Sword Emperor's power exploded, flashing in the two's faces. His pressure slammed like a mountain, making them gasp as even their yuan qi slowed down. Bali Yu panicked inside as sweat trickled down. They were far from able to take on the 8 Emperor's power. Chapter 12:17, Three-Way Talk. Chapter 12:17, Three-Way Talk. Proofreader, Papatonks. A deadly bloodthirst enveloped them. like a sea of needles aimed at their heart. Bali Yu was frozen in place by now, while Zhuofan took a casual step forward. We came to give you the Nether Sea map. The Sword Emperor immediately stopped his relentless pursuit for vengeance, staring hard at Zhuofan. What was that? Sword Emperor, we came to give you the Nether Sea map. Kill me and you'll never get the chance again. Humph, you think it'll save you? Think again. The Sword Emperor flicked his hand, but then he went back to his throne barking. What the hell are you up to? Talk already before I lose the little patience I have left. Zhuofan cupped his hands. Sword Emperor, it's like this. You must have heard by now how the Falcon Emperor and Wraith Emperor are moving. The Demonic Emperor doesn't fear them, and only wants to spare the people the needless destruction and pain. Thus he is asking the Sword Emperor to mediate. You can't beat them, so you came crawling to me. Don't you think offering a copy instead of the original is a little insincere? My hands are tied. This is as far as the Demonic Emperor will bargain. Zhuofan sighed. Seeing as the Sword Emperor rejected the proposal, we shall leave. The two bowed. Wait! The Sword Emperor shouted. Zhuofan looked back. Anything else I can do for you, Sword Emperor? Use it to cut off your legs, and you may leave with your life. The Sword Emperor pointed at the sword Bali Yu threw on the ground. Bali Yu grimaced, awaiting Zhuofan's signal. Zhuofan smiled and sighed. He stared at the sword. Sword Emperor, can't I make amends instead? I would rather not go without my legs for the rest of my days. This is what you get for cutting my junior brother's legs. I'm not as gracious as you might think. Sword Emperor, I told you that I can make amends. Just tell me what I have to do, short of cutting my legs. What do you have that's worth my junior brother's legs? At Gambling Town, Senior Lu cut his 2 toes for the Nether Sea map. I figured using the same map in exchange for his legs should be worth it. I'm sure Senior Lu would have gladly given up his legs than just to earn the map. The old man eyed the Sword Emperor with a grave look, nodding. The Sword Emperor said, Then hand it over. But can you take it from the Demonic Emperor? Not the original, only a copy, if you don't mind. Copy? Sword Emperor glanced at Elder Lu to see him frowning then nodding. Anything's better than nothing. It shouldn't be fake either, right? Of course not. I have a way to prove it to Sir, and you can even take it up with the Gambling Emperor to validate it. That's settled then. The girl will stay here as insurance. Sword Emperor clapped, his decision final. Zhuofan snickered, bowing. Sword Emperor, you don't need a hostage. All Sir has to do is mediate the war, and the Demonic Emperor will gladly offer the copy. What? Sword Emperor glared at him. You're toying with me. Sword Emperor, I would never. Outrageous. I deigned letting you make amends by exchanging the Nether Sea map copy for your legs. But in the end, you're still dragging the Demonic Emperor into this. How is that making amends? Sword Emperor, please, I'm really doing what I said. Zhuofan bowed in panic. To be honest, the Demonic Emperor already found an ally, the Ruby Cloud Sect's Enchanting Empress. 2 against 2 would be enough to force the enemy emperors to withdraw. The matter with Elder Lu that day weighed heavy on my mind, that I insisted on making another copy, and having the Sword Emperor for an ally. The Sword Emperor is the head of the 8 emperors, lofty and respected. Your mere presence will smooth things over. However, the Demonic Emperor was disinclined towards this proposal. More copies meant, haha, you understand. So I worked 3 days and 3 nights to get the Demonic Emperor to accept the Sword Emperor as an ally. It's just a matter of mediating, and Sir will get the copy. It's hardly any different from doing nothing, isn't it? Isn't this ample proof of my sincere actions? Ah. The Sword Emperor paused, looking at Zhuofan's smile and said, I can see now how you got a name for yourself in Gambling Town, thanks to that insidiousness and guile. With you by the Demonic Emperor's side, it's like having 100 more Spirit Kings. Sword Emperor, you flatter me. That's no compliment but reality. The Sword Emperor waved. Fine, you can go. I'll agree with the Demonic Emperor's request. We'll now wait to meet and settle the rest. By the way, bring the Gambling Emperor as well to inspect the map. Zhuofan bowed. Thank you so much, Sword Emperor. Farewell. Zhuofan and Bali Yu left. The Sword Emperor's face fell. Rotten brat. So cunning that it makes me want to flay him alive, but I can't do nothing to him. Humph, just a bone-tempering cultivator yet. Bam! The Sword Emperor slammed the table beside him to pieces. Su Zhenxing started. Master, we're just going to let him go. Elder Lu's legs. Didn't he say it himself? He made up for it with the Nether Sea copy. Elder Lu looked downcast. But isn't that just a simple trade? It is, but in his view, it's making amends, so that's what it is. He also brought up the Ruby Cloud sect to corner us. We could forego the deal. But all we need to do is mediate, and we'll get a copy of the Nether Sea map. We can't let this easy win pass us by. But we could have still cut his legs. He made no amends, just speaking on behalf of the demonic emperor. A deal is one thing while retribution is another. Su Zhenxing's eyes flashed with cruelty. The Sword Emperor and Elder Lu shook their heads. Ashing, when you meet him again, strike him then and there. Don't ever give him the chance to speak. Why? The moment he does, you'd have lost all reasons to do so. The Sword Emperor sighed. I could have done it at first, but lost my chance as he skirted around the Nether Sea map, the reason for the deal. With it in play, I lost all reason to deal with him. He represents the demonic emperor. Killing him means no deal, when we truly want it to go through. The kid is bad news. Able to save his skin, and accomplish the demonic emperor's task. Su Zhenxing started and Elder Lu sighed. The debt for his legs would remain on hold for a long time. A month later, Shuafan returned to Devil Mountain. Zhao Qin could hardly wait, questioning the minute he stepped in the hall. Well, how did it go? Those two geezers have been growing restless these past months. They've taken 3 towns already. I haven't joined the fight, since I've been waiting for you to give me a reply. Demonic Emperor Sir can rest easy knowing everything went as planned. Shuafan smirked. The Enchanting Empress and Sword Emperor will be stepping in. All for just 1 copy of the map and nothing more. Now it's up to Sir to use them against each other. The Wraith Emperor and Falcon Emperor will come out heavily wounded at the least. Zhao Qin laughed. Steward Zhua, you're amazing to get 2 helpers so quickly. Luck's on my side, ha ha ha. I'll send letters to them right away to have a talk and settle those geezers. Brilliant, sir. Zhuafan bowed, his smirk obvious. 3 days later, Devil Mountain sent 2 jade slips. After 2 more months, the Sword Emperor and Enchanting Empress arrived with their forces, along with a fat man in fancy clothes. Chapter 12:18 Inconsistent. Chapter 12:18 Inconsistent. Proofreader Papatonks. Wearing a decorated black robe, Zhao Qin took his 20 demon guards to welcome them, with Zhuafan in their lead, of course. Sword Emperor, Enchanting Empress, it's been a long time. I'm thrilled to have both of your support in this matter, ha ha ha. Demonic Emperor, please, we came to do our part and receive our just reward, ha ha ha. The 2 replied back with respect. Sword Emperor went right to it. Isn't it time to show us what you promised? We've gone to great lengths to bring experts to appraise it. The Sword Emperor made way as he pointed at a fatty behind. Zhao Qin cried, Gambling Emperor, you're here too. Sure I am. In such a crucial situation, Sword Emperor insisted that I validate the items. I was also free at the moment, so I tagged along to enjoy the bustle. I'm curious if there's been any clues to unraveling the Nether Sea map after taking it from me. The Gambling Emperor smirked. Zhao Qin shook his head. Gambling Emperor, you jest. Known for your sharp mind, if you, who had it for decades and couldn't crack it, how could I do so in only a few days? Then there's the recent trouble that came up, taking more of my time. You're overthinking things. You don't have to remind me. The answer to the riddle is like gambling, up to luck, coincidence, and a whole lot of wisdom. I'm just a bit brighter, but not wiser, for true wisdom is unassuming and simple. Maybe your little friend managed to do it in a couple of days? Hey, are you 2 done? This is not the time to show off when we haven't even seen the map. The Sword Emperor cut the 2's idle chatter. Since this is a discussion among 3 parties, it will only be carried out on the premise of the map's validity. The Demonic Emperor and Gambling Emperor laughed, the former bringing them into the main hall. A 3-meter-long table lay in the center. Zhao Chen took out 3 boxes and placed them on it, opening each one to reveal 3 scrolls. The middle one had everyone's focus, confirming it to be the real Nether Sea map. The other 2 looked newer, obviously the copies. Unfolding them, they all looked the same, covered in black dots and circles. The lines at the top were also copied to the tiniest detail. This is the real Nether Sea map. Unlike that, Mei Sangu had come as well, and her eyes shone as she sighed. Then she glared at Zhuo Fan, recalling the indignity he put her through with his sick joke. Zhuo Fan bowed towards Gambling Emperor. Senior, please inspect the copies and see if there are any discrepancies so we may correct. There's nothing to inspect about the original. It just can't be faked. The Gambling Emperor nodded. The genuine map is made of ancient nether paper, filled with yin energy, making it impervious and eternal, the craftsmanship lost with time. Everything's about the drawing, whether it's done accurately. It's only a matter of matching the copies to the original. The Gambling Emperor leaned over to look closer. After many hours he still said nothing. A day in, and he still found them to be identical to the real map. The others didn't disturb him in the process, since it involved the other 3's basis for cooperation. Only after the second day did the Gambling Emperor put them down and sighed. Yes, the copies are the same. The rest nodded, smiling. Now we shall help the Demonic Emperor in talking those 2 old guys into withdrawing so peace can be restored. The Sword Emperor turned lively, knowing that the map was within reach. The Enchanting Empress nodded as well, in full agreement. The sooner they were done, the sooner she got what she wanted. Zhao Chen shouted, "Hold on, I changed my mind." "You don't want to trade?" The Sword Emperor reacted. Zhao Chen shook his head. "Hardly. I just wish to add another condition." "Don't you think it's too easy to get a copy by only talking?" "What do you propose?" The 2 frowned, having a bad feeling. Zhao Chen snickered, cupping his hands. "I ask that you promise me something. We all know the value of the Nether Sea map, and I wish to ask a favor of you 2 in exchange for a copy." "What is it?" "That all 3 of us act. Help me to take all of the lands owned by the Wraith Emperor and Falcon Emperor." "What?" The 2 flinched, with the Enchanting Empress shouting. Steward Zhuo clearly said it's only mediating. There was no mention of attacking. How can you just... Yeah. Zhuo Fan also intervened. "Demonic Emperor sir. When I asked sirs for cooperation, fighting wasn't part of it. Going back on it isn't right." "What's so bad about it? And you have no right to talk here. Back off." Zhao Chen glared at him. Zhuo Fan sighed and stepped down. Zhao Chen turned to the other 2. "When I sent Steward Zhuo to ask for your help, the war hadn't started. With you acting as mediators, it wouldn't matter then since no harm's been done. Now those bastards took 10 of my cities. I'm not about to take this lying down. You may still be after brokering peace, but I've grown out of it, humph." The 2 darkened, looking at the copies now and then. Getting them to attack over the copy was... "Demonic Emperor, I'm sorry to say this, but you're asking for too much." Zhuo Fan was grave, stepping in with a bow. "The Nether Sea map is valuable, but it is merely a faint hope. Deciphering it is still uncertain. Asking the Sword Emperor and Enchanting Empress to get involved in the war will bring them losses, and they have to receive adequate compensation. I propose that after their lands are taken over, the Demonic Emperor would split them with the 2 sirs, making it a common ground to act together. Adding the 2 copies as well, and it sounds worthwhile." "Outrageous!" Zhao Chen snapped. "You want to split my gains? Isn't that asking for much?" "Zhuo Fan, on which side are you on?" "Sir, I'm always on your side, but in business, both sides need to be satisfied. How else are they to help you?" "No, the most I can offer is 20 cities, since I'm still throwing in the 2 maps." "Demonic Emperor, I believe Steward Zhuo's proposal to be reasonable. We will divide everything evenly among us 3. That's the only way for us to involve our own forces." "Enchanting Empress, don't haggle with me. I'm even giving you the map." Zhao Chen roared. The Enchanting Empress said with a cold smile. "Right now, you're surrounded on all sides. What good will a piece of paper do when you're burning to the ground? In any case, if you want us to fight, we can. But we're not about to suffer for nothing. Sword Emperor, are you up for some charity? Ha ha ha. I'm no fool to accept such dumb demands. Why you all? Demonic Emperor gnashed his teeth, flinging his hand in the air. Fine. Have it your way. We'll split it 3 ways, that's our agreement. As for the maps, we'll have them, of course. Why the hell would you? Because those 2 came for you. It wouldn't bother us at all if we just stayed back, while you needed us. Sword Emperor sneered. The map is the reward for our cooperation. The demonic emperor was huffing and puffing in anger, but finally turned away. Fine, do what you want, making me lose so much. And you talk too much. Zhao Chun pointed at Zhuo Fan, barking before going to his chambers. Zhuo Fan sighed. While the 2 emperors were smug, the gambling emperor gave Zhuo Fan a long look, sporting a crafty grin. The kid sure is something else. Steward Zhuo, we would like to make a copy ourselves. Could we? Zhao Chun was gone now, and the enchanting empress asked Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan frowned, giving her a dark look. We had the copies prepared already. Why would you bother for more? Do you doubt? No. We just wish to feel for ourselves the fascination of the Nether Sea map. Zhuo Fan smiled after some difficulty. As you wish, but please give your copy to the gambling emperor for keeping. The gambling emperor is fair, always neutral. Once the deal is done, each of you can take your copy from him. We understand. The enchanting empress and sword emperor took out paper and started copying the Nether Sea map. Zhuo Fan sneered inside. These geezers are the same, cautious to the extreme, ha ha ha. Chapter 12:19. 8 Emperor War. Chapter 12:19. 8 Emperor War. Proofreader Papatonks. The Sword Emperor and Enchanting Empress were obsessed with the map at this point, taking their good time copying it, and then comparing it for good measure. This whole process took a week, before handing the paper to the gambling emperor. Zhuo Fan sent the 3 great people on their way, as the representative of Devil Mountain, to get ready for war. Zhao Chun looked to not have gotten over his loss in this deal, and never showed up in the meantime. The emperors felt even more gratified by his demeanor, like they won big, so they saluted Zhuo Fan as they left. The gambling emperor gave him a long look. Demonic emperor has earned heaven's favor to have Steward Zhuo by his side. He left flying, under Zhuo Fan's watch and grin. How was it? Did it work? The demonic emperor strolled out and smiled in joy. Zhuo Fan bowed. Sir, everything went perfectly. To get their copy as soon as possible from the gambling emperor, they're sure to help us crush the other 2 quickly. Ha ha ha. Steward Zhuo is incredible. Getting those 2 to fall for your scheme with a few words and coming to my rescue. They wouldn't have taken such a risk otherwise. Demonic Emperor, sir. All I did was play a little mind trick. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone. Asking them to fight for us by using the map as bait wouldn't have worked. So we had them act as mediators first, fooling them into coming to the talks before changing your mind. They were promised the map, but now that the gambling emperor has validated it, and seeing it so close, they couldn't bear the thought of missing out. Then we played our little act, one with the other against them. Zhao Chun laughed. I gave them crumbs while Steward Zhuo argued over honorable reward. Of course they'd side with Steward Zhuo, but forgot to consider if they should join the war in the first place. It was truly smooth how they got dragged into fighting our war for us with none the wiser. Steward Zhuo's skills are ingenious, way better than any advisor I ever had, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan bowed. Demonic Emperor is too kind. I'm just ashamed of making Sir play the bad guy. It's fine, since it's only natural for me to play such a role. You'd come off as fake if you'd done it, and the plan would fall through. What mattered was for this deal to work. And they wanted the Nethersea copy, humph. Zhao Chun sneered. Zhuo Fan nodded with his own cruel smile. He took out the real map and splashed water over to clean it. They wanted to copy the original, never imagining we'd tampered with it, adding more black circles. They still have a fake in the end. It's all due to Steward Zhuo's clever thinking, anticipating such a situation. You have my complete admiration. Zhao Chun's eyes flashed and both cracked up. Zhao Chun said, Should we now gather the men and join them in raiding those old fools' lands? No, demonic emperor, we cannot join this war. Why not? Zhao Chen stated. Those two came for me and I have to be a part of this war. Steward Zhua, do you have another devious plot? Zhua Fan gave a vague smile. Demonic emperor, think about it. With 3 emperors, those two will fall, no doubt about it. But when push comes to shove, what of our allies? Knowing the enemy is going to be defeated, they would give their all to fight in anger and hatred against such indignity. Our losses would be huge while our allies would just wait at the side. They would have some losses as well, while us and the enemy would be crippled, making them the real winners. Yes, none of those 8 emperors are good. They'll be sure to do this. Zhao Chen gnashed his teeth. Zhua Fan grinned. Then when they fight, we just do nothing. The enemy would give their all against our allies, making them suffer, while we watch them burn from a safe distance. When the outcome is obvious, we join in as allies and win everything. Isn't that better? Yeah, we won't lose 1 man, and would get 1/3 of those two's lands. Zhao Chen's eyes shone with joy. Steward Zhua, amazing as ever. I did say, demonic emperor, to look for adversaries and not allies, and found I have. Zhua Fan's eyes shone. Zhao Chen was over the moon, thrilled and oblivious at this careful net being laid out, meant to drag him down to hell as well. A month later, the Wraith Emperor and Falcon Emperor had no trouble at all taking 20 more of Demonic Emperor's cities. The rest of the world found it odd. Even with 2 emperors against him, Demonic Emperor wouldn't just sit still, right? Letting his lands be taken away without even a fight. The attackers themselves found it queer. Out of the blue, the neutral Sword Emperor and Enchanting Empress joined the fight against them. They looked to have been gotten ready just for this too. The war was thus in full swing, with each side having 2 emperors. As for Demonic Emperor, he showed no sign of joining. The enemy had no intention to duke it out with those strong crazies, so they withdrew from the Demonic Emperor's lands. The Demonic Emperor still hadn't sent 1 soldier on the front, or recovered his lands. Uncertain, the 2 enemies set their soldiers at the borders, waiting for a week, only falling back for real when the Demonic Emperor still showed no signs. They now moved their soldiers to deal with the Sword Emperor and Enchanting Empress invasions on their lands. Their weakened borders led to the new participants having an easy time taking 10 cities. The enemy was furious, sending their armies to help while shouting curses all the time. We had no beef with you, so why the hell are you ganging up on us? This is absurd. The 2 rushed to counter, making the strong forces of the Sword Emperor and Enchanting Empress suffer losses. Another month passed and the newcomers took 5 more cities with their relentless assaults, though losses mounted to 40%. The Sword Emperor and Enchanting Empress felt it and swore on and off because of it. Not the enemy emperors, since they were just defending their lands. Their only gripe was, of course, with the Demonic Emperor. It was his mess to begin with, yet after more than a month, he still sat on his laurels, leaving them 4 to enjoy a nice day on a bloody battlefield. The Demonic Emperor had to strike the enemy's heart, and then the war would have been over and done with ages ago. He didn't do that, of course, letting the 4 emperors clash and entwine, making a resolution improbable in the short term. The Demonic Emperor would definitely hang the copy over their heads because of this too, making all the effort till now wasted. So the war went on, with no one to direct it or stop it, just what Zhua Fan wanted. 8 emperors? Huh. Letting you rulers kill each other is the fastest way to fall. So go ahead, tear each other apart to your heart's content, ha ha ha. Shriek. Over the bloody battlefield, with limbs and corpses rotting in the blazing sun, a 2-mile-long bald eagle cast a dark shadow with its huge wings. On its back was a spindly man with sharp eyes. Senior sister, the Falcon Emperor has joined the battle. In a large tent, Mei Sengge rushed to report. 8 emperors frowned. The old man is here? Damn it. A fight among 8 emperors can't be avoided now. The war has to end now if we are to endure. Sengge, take the Ruby Cloud sect forces 50 miles back, so that they do not get affected. Yes. Mei Sengge carried her orders. The Enchanting Empress' eyes flared, and she flew out to face the Falcon Emperor above the Hell's Cape. Old man, you're finally stepping in yourself. I thought you'd wait till the last man to show up. Enchanting Empress, what did I ever do to you to invade my lands? We all work for our greed. You didn't do anything, but I'm entrusted with another's business. Enchanting Empress' eyes shone. The Falcon Emperor squinted. A deal with the demonic emperor perhaps? I was wondering why would you and the Sword Emperor turn on us? Tell me, what did he promise you anyway? I'll just double it. Ha ha ha, Falcon Emperor, you think any random trinket could impress us? You don't have what he does. Really? Then that leaves war as the only option. The Falcon Emperor flicked his sleeve, and the eagle beneath him shot for the Enchanting Empress with bloodthirst. Chapter 1220, The One from Sacred Mountains. Chapter 1220, The One from Sacred Mountains. Proofreader Papatonks. Lofty Falcon. The Falcon Emperor waved, and a golden falcon flew out from his body, high above, growing larger and larger as it enveloped the sky. It flapped its wings and shot golden feathers down like meteors. Everything in 1,000 miles was covered in craters. The ground quaked, the air warped. Everything ended up reduced to nothing from the overbearing power. Both sides were wise enough to pull out their men, avoiding the pointless loss of millions of lives. Not even a spirit king could avoid that. They watched agape and in fear at the wanton destruction, thanking their lucky stars to be alive. They were also amazed at the 8 emperors' strength, way beyond any normal emperor. Senior sister. Mei Sanga watched with worry. An eerie laughter jarred their ears. Ha ha ha, Falcon Emperor. Using the imperial mark off the bat? You're going all out, I see. Whoosh. A swirling wind came out of nowhere, removing all the dust. A stem hundreds of meters long, adorned with golden lights and petals emitting faint ethereal fragrance, wended its way upward, blossoming in this wretched battlefield. The Enchanting Empress sat upon it, showing mesmerizing charm, and a coy smile playing on her lips. Imperial mark, Heavenly Jasper? The Falcon Emperor smiled. My ascending divine falcon soul rules the skies while your Heavenly Jasper soul roots in the endless earth. It's like a battle between heaven and earth. The Enchanting Empress said. The heavens and earth coexist, as do yin and yang. Despite being opposite, they can't overcome each other unlike us. For someone always falls. Humph, since time immemorial, the heavens are lofty and the earth is base. You're the one who shall fall. Let's see it then, shall we? The Enchanting Empress raised an eyebrow, shouting, High earth ranked martial art flower bloom, heaven-piercing forest. Boom. The earth cracked as golden vines snaked out of the ground, untold numbers shooting for the skies. They whistled as they rented the air, feeling like they were about to tear the heavens asunder. Falcon Emperor was grave atop his eagle, as he avoided the incoming vines. The Enchanting Empress sneered. Does a heavenly lord not deign to land? Enchanting Empress, you're getting ahead of yourself. Uprooting these things is nothing to me. Falcon Emperor made a sign. High earth ranked martial art, divine elusive falcon, airborne hunt. The golden eagle above exploded in a brilliant flash, sending golden motes of light in all direction. They turned into miniature golden eagles in the millions. There was not a place that hadn't one. The Enchanting Empress turned grave, making the vines cover her. Bang! Explosions echoed all around her. Her tough vines were unable to withstand the finger-sized golden eagles, splintering and breaking with every impact. The Falcon Emperor sneered. The vines all crumbled, but the Enchanting Empress was nowhere to be seen. Her imperial mark, Heavenly Jasper, was gone as well. Then he noticed the ground had a dark hole, 1 meter wide. The Falcon Emperor muttered, Flowers live on the ground. Does that mean she hid beneath the earth? Bam! Dust flew everywhere, as a root shot from under the earth, straight for him. The deadly bloodlust made him flinch, jumping off the eagle on instinct. With a muffled sound, the giant eagle cried as it got skewered. The Falcon Emperor looked back and gasped. His huge eagle had half of its body gone, releasing a rain of blood in its suffering plunge to the ground. In its place was a towering stem with a gorgeous flower at the end, though this flower not only had thorns, but teeth and a bloody maw as it tore through the eagle's body. The blood pulsed through its veins down the stem, giving it a ghastly look. The enchanting empress was still atop her flower, giving him a wicked smile of contempt. To think the heavenly Jasper is a carnivore. The falcon emperor clenched his fists and threw his hand out, making golden lights gather behind him to form a 300-meter-long golden eagle. Enchanting empress. You killed my mount, so I'm going to gut you like a trout and offer up your soul to my divine falcon. The enchanting empress said. Any slower and the 10th level spiritual beast wouldn't have been the only casualty. You lost back there, and are still blustering about? Shut it, enchanting empress. Today you're plucked, one petal at a time. What did you say? The enchanting empress was outraged. I said you're plucked. Die. The enchanting empress made a furious sign, and her man-eating chair shot for the skies. The earth shook with its movements as thousands upon thousands of vines shot out as well, aiming for the falcon emperor. The falcon emperor was no pushover either, trembling and releasing a lofty eagle cry as he dived along with his golden eagle. The blazing sun above sent its rays to help, turning into firebirds in the millions. The sky warped and the earth caved as the two relentless cultivators unleashed their heavy attacks. Even as they had yet to clash, the thick and calamitous power they unleashed reeked of death. All spectators shuddered with the fight reaching do or die. Stop! A shout rent the skies, making the two halt their attacks. Whoosh! Understanding their situation, the man never thought of the possibility the two could pull back their attacks. And since you can't stop, I will handle them myself. Two booms echoed that startled everyone. At the peak of the skies, two white sword waves shot down, 100 meters in length, straight for the two. The rising vines got pruned down to their molecules, while the diving golden eagle got bisected, before turning into harmless lights. A 300-meter large image of a man carrying 18 swords on his back used his large hands to clasp on enchanting empress carnivorous flower and falcon emperor's golden eagle. This, the two cried, spirit body soul. A saint. I am the 6th sacred mountain saint He Xiaofeng. The huge image held in the center of his head an eminent youth staring down at them. I heard of the 8 emperors going to war, bringing chaos and destruction among the people, so I came to put a stop to it. Give up. My attacks would have cut your souls and yourselves if they were aimed at your imperial marks. The two gasped and bowed. Thank you, Saint, for your mercy. We're forever grateful. Cut the crap. We came out because of orders to discuss with the 8 emperors, but it turns out you guys are nothing but idiots to fight over fortunes. Yi Xiaofeng decreed. You are to go to the Sword Emperor's place within the month. We'll talk there. Yi Xiaofeng released his hold on them and vanished. The 2 emperors stood stock still, seeing the fear in the other's eyes. This saint had always been in seclusion. What's he doing out? The last time that he came out was due to 9 Serenity's secret records. Is this time because? The enchanting empress' heart sank. Curses, here comes another struggle for treasure. The sacred mountains are no saints after all, humph. The Sword Emperor and Wraith Emperor were at their throats with their deadly attacks, when an old man popped in to put a halt to their senseless destruction, telling them the 8 emperors were to gather. Thus, the curtain fell on the war of 5 emperors, with neither party coming out pleased. As the big bad boss above came down, the little guys could no longer act tough and do what they pleased. Chapter 1221 Summons. Chapter 1221 Summons. Proofreader Papatonks. Someone from the sacred mountains came. In Devil Mountain's main hall, the demonic emperor shouted out after the Sword Emperor's messenger left. Then his fury exploded, and he smashed a good table to splinters. Damn them all. They just couldn't pick a better timing than right when things were getting heated up. I was just about to charge in and sweep everything, but they just had to butt in and ruin everything. So many losses, yet fricking nothing to show for it. Curse them. Hello, you lost nothing, you dunce. Why the tantrum? It should be the Sword Emperor, Enchanting Empress, and me in particular, who should be raging. It was bad enough it took so much effort to enact such a bloody war. Getting everyone to jump in, now everything went out the window. I'm the one who lost everything here. 7 sacred mountains only ever acts out of need, which means. Zhuofan rubbed his chin in thought. Demonic Emperor, sir. News of Nether Sea map must have reached them. We'll have to hand the map over. Why the hell would I? Zhao Chun threw his hand. Zhuofan sighed. Yeah, after so much blood and sweat in keeping the original, only to give it all up makes me worthless to sir. However, no matter the value of the map, one's life is far more precious. Zhao Chun shuddered, recalling the lesson of his master dying at a saint's hand because of the 9 Serenities' secret records inside. Master was the boldest of the 8 emperors, and even under the other 7's attacks, still stood undefeated. Only when a saint. Curse those 7 sacred mountains. Zhao Chun raged inside, evident by his ragged breath, his face turning red. Zhuofan said, Demonic Emperor, sir. Have you cracked the map by chance? It would make giving it up all the more easier. Crack it? You think you can up and resolve something so abstruse over lunch? Zhao Chun sighed. I wouldn't care about giving it up either if I had. Zhuofan's eyes shone. An idea struck me that might help. Oh, Steward Zhua, you saw through it. I can't say for sure, just that I might know where to start. That's better than nothing. At least we could try it on a copy we make. Zhao Chun laughed, taking out the map. Steward Zhua, what's your idea? Tell me. Zhuofan leaned and pointed out a corner. I was struck by an idea that this map might be just a star chart. Steward Zhua, can you read the stars? Somewhat. With my low cultivation, I could only invest my time in other areas, lest I was content to remain pariah. Zhuofan continued. Sir, look here. These corners seem to resemble star clusters, and this looks just like the night sky. It's just so hard to make it up with all of them so tight together. Zhao Chun frowned hard and exclaimed, These extra black dots do interfere, Steward Zhua. Just tell me about the sky area you can see while ignoring the one that eludes you. Demonic Emperor, sir, that's brilliant. I was thinking the same thing. Zhuofan smiled and took out a paper to put over the other. Look, sir, this is the rough star chart. Zhao Chun nodded, then his eyes lit up as he looked. Isn't this a map of sacred domain? Good going, sir. The image formed does look like the sacred domain's map. Ha ha ha. Then follow the stars and draw out the sacred domain outline. Nether Sea must be somewhere on it. But where? Zhuofan smirked as he played along. I can't make out this part. The star positions the shape like 9 rings. Maybe underworld star cluster. Wait, underworld. Right. Diviners look at the sky to determine one's fate. If there's a bright star in the underworld star cluster, that means they're going to die. Zhuofan pointed out. Zhao Chun considered it, then smiled. Nether Sea must be where the underworld river is. The Death Star's location must be the door to Nether Sea. We did it. Nether Sea map's mystery is resolved. Ha ha ha. Zhao Chun laughed wildly. Zhuofan bowed. Amazing, sir, congratulations. Come, Steward Zhua, you're going overboard. Something tells me you cracked it already, and only came here to tell me. Zhuofan shook his head. Sir, I'm but a fool. You don't have to push the credit on me, to stroke my ego. I could never have the heart to cast out such a talented genius like you, Steward Zhua. So don't play the fool with me and suck up to me. Zhao Chun beamed as he put the map in his ring, patting Zhuofan's shoulder. Once I get Nether Sovereign's cultivation method, and become a saint, no, a sovereign, you'll still be at my side, above everyone else. I won't ever forget your dedication, ha ha ha. Thank you, Sovereign. Zhuofan bowed, snickering inside. Since you want Nether Sovereign's legacy, by all means take it. Just be sure to take the rest with you, alright, ha ha ha. A month later, the 8 emperors took their closest people to the Sword Emperor's place. Despite being the owner in his home, he didn't feel like one. In his seat sat a youth, He Xiaofeng, and an old man next to him stood with a ruthless glimmer in his eyes. Greetings, saints. Everyone below bowed. The elder said nothing, with He Xiaofeng speaking, rise. Thank you, saint. The people sat, and He Xiaofeng swept them with his cold eyes. Where is demonic Emperor Zhao Chun? What may I do for you, saint? Zhao Chun bowed at once, meek. He Xiaofeng demanded, I heard you have the Nether Sea map. Is this true? It is, saint. Have you resolved its mystery? I'm but an oaf saint. None of you are worthy of being able to unravel such a treasure anyway. Yi Xiaofeng sneered, not bothering masking his condescending tone. His voice was soft yet strict as well. Give it here. Zhao Chen took out the map and presented it. Saint, here it is as requested. Yi Xiaofeng nodded, and took it for a closer look with a chuckle. Then he gave it to the old man. You're not mad about giving it up? The elder spared it a glance then asked Zhao Chen. Zhao Chen showed an ingratiating smile. It has been my only wish to offer the map to Saint. How could I ever be mad? I would have long come to you and offered it, but I feared disturbing Sir's cultivation. Leech. The others wore bright smiles but thought the same thing in their minds, cursing his despicable behavior. They were clueless that Zhao Chen had already seen through the map. Good, I'll remember you. The elder looked skeptical as he stared Zhao Chen down. Have you made any copies? I can give it to you to make one, as a memento. Zhao Chen shook his head. Saint Sir, you wound me. Since I offer you the map with all sincerity, I could never do such a thing. My only wish has been to serve Sacred Mountains. All our 8 emperors' duties are to maintain the world for Sacred Mountain, to let Sirs reach higher enlightenment. How could we ever yearn for something like a sovereign's seat of enlightenment? I of course made no copies, ha ha ha. You're really not bad. The old man nodded and showed a weird smile. Much better than your master, Zhui Yifan at least. That guy didn't know his limit, trying and failing to rely on the demon sovereign's legacy to rise above the 7 sacred mountains. But you never even thought about it, settling down instead. Saint is most gracious. Zhao Chen bowed with a beaming smile. Humph, I never got the chance. Who the hell would want you hanging over them? Who among the 8 emperors doesn't want to stomp you under their heels? It's only a matter of time before I will, hee hee hee. Zhuo Fan next to him had a dark look, recalling how a saint came after his life and clenched his fists. Those bastards from the 7 sacred mountains rely on the world's resources to seek Tao. But did they rise above its affairs? No. The 8 emperors rule half of sacred domain, but they would never escape their control. A bunch of fools who stand outside the secular world, but always think of it, are stuck unable to reach the sovereign stage, only wasting the sacred domain's resources. Serves you right. Any random mutt would have been flying if you've done it by now. Speaking of those truly touching the cusp of sovereign stage, then all those seniors I brought from the mortal domain with their world of experience and focused solely on Tao have a better chance than you. Fakers and posers got no chance. Chapter 1222. Off on a treasure hunt. Chapter 1222. Off on a treasure hunt. Proofreader Papatonks. The old man placed the map in his ring, pointing out as he looked at the emperors. You all should take the demonic emperor's example and be sincere. Understand what you can and can't have, to not overstep your bounds in your schemes. Yeah, Sir is absolutely right, ha ha ha. Beaming and bobbing their heads, the enchanting empress and sword emperor felt their hearts sink, reporting, Sir, we happen to get a copy from the demonic emperor, now resting in the gambling emperor's care. We leave it at Sir's discretion. The old man grinned knowingly. The gambling emperor's heart froze and presented the copies with nothing but respect as absolute power demanded. Here are their copies, sir. Right. The old man huffed and took them, giving the papers but a glance as he snickered. You've been the first holder of the Nether Sea map. Is there anything else you would like to add? The gambling emperor offered another white paper. I had made another copy, sir. Gambling emperor, you're the sharpest of the 8 emperors. The Nether Sea map had been with you for so many years, yet not one word went around that you had it. I'm flattered, sir, but I meant not to hide it. It was to research it and find Nether Sea's location, to offer it. The gambling emperor shivered under the old man's stare as he explained himself, but the former cut him off. That's enough. I'm well aware what it's on all of your minds. A word of advice, don't be too smart for your own good. Your little games are known to sacred mountains. I'd rather avoid having you end up like the demonic emperor of old. The 8 emperors lowered their heads in respect and fear. None could defy the saints. Zhuo Fan squinted and hatred burned inside. The matter is settled, you may go. I and he Xiaofeng have matters to discuss. Do keep in mind that there might be some changes among the 8 emperors recently, and you should have an idea about it. The old man's remark had everyone looking grave at the implications. Changes in the 8 emperors, does he mean someone will replace us? The people bowed and withdrew. He Xiaofeng recalled something and shouted, "Enchanting Empress, stay." The enchanting empress looked at the rest as she was the only one left with the 2 saints, bowing. "How may I assist you, sir?" "Enchanting Empress, you're one of the 8 emperors my father groomed." He Xiaofeng hooked his finger. "Father trusts you the most. What of the matter you reported to father 100 years ago?" Enchanting Empress smiled and nodded. "Sir, Qingqing is good. Shouldn't you arrange a meeting then?" He Xiaofeng's eyes shone. "You raised the girl for so long, so don't you think it's time for her to come with me to Sacred Mountains? It's too sudden. Perhaps, the ancient records do say her refusal will complicate things." He Xiaofeng sighed. "My unique position and fear of arousing suspicion prevented me from bringing her into Sacred Mountains from the beginning. It would have been so much easier if we had just grown up together." Enchanting Empress nodded, with the old man smiling. "Xiaofeng, don't worry. As the young lord of the 6th Sacred Mountain, capturing a girl's attention can't be easier. Am I right, Enchanting Empress?" Yeah, ha ha ha." Enchanting Empress bobbed her head, feeling conflicted. That was before. Now the girl is only getting closer to another man. Maybe no, it should work. That kid is nothing before the lofty young lord of Sacred Mountains. The 7 emperors left the hall and gathered around to brainstorm the reason behind keeping the enchanting empress. Sure, they all clashed on an average basis, with even having a war not a month ago, but before Sacred Mountains, they found a common ground to unite them and discuss their situation. What's the enchanting empress connection with the 2 saints? Why do they keep her back every time? Who knows? The broad has a large circle of friends. When dealing with Zhu Yifan, we were the only ones who knew about him. Even with our swift speed, somehow the saints got wind of it a bit too fast. Something tells me that she was the one who leaked it. Her? No way. With the coming of a saint, none of us would get anything from the 9 Serenities secret records. Why would she do something that got her nothing instead? What's the point in bringing up the past? Now it's what matters. Sacred Mountains said they want to reorganize the 8 emperors. We need to consider our course. They went silent as they sighed. Zhuofan eavesdropped from the side, glancing at the closed hall's doors. Those rotten broads are with the Sacred Mountains. Regardless of Sacred Mountains' intent for us, we have no power. Rather than shake in our boots over what might come, we should go home, meditate and clean house. Zhao Chen spoke first, cupping his hands. Goodbye. Zhuofan left with him. The others got curious. They knew the demonic emperor to be a powder keg ready to blow most of the time. So why was he so fine with how things turned out? Peculiar. The gambling emperor watched them go with a glimmer in his eyes. Something must be up. Maybe they don't care about Sacred Mountain's decision? That just can't be. A week later, Zhao Chun was back in his hall on Devil Mountain, alone with Zhuofan. Ha ha ha, Sacred Mountains. Once I find the Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment and gain his legacy, there'll be nothing. The age of a sacred domain dominated by Sacred Mountains is over. The time for my rule has come. Zhao Chun said with excitement. Steward Zhua, gather the men at once, but only the most loyal, to go with me in search of Nether Sea. Zhuofan bowed and shook his head. Sir, there's no rush. The saints have yet to leave. They might just be coming for us once we move. Right, Steward Zhua. With those bastards here, they'll be sure to mess things up. I don't want to end up like my master. Zhao Chen said. Steward Zhua, when should we act then? We can take our time since no one can resolve Nether Sea's riddle overnight. Waiting won't change anything. Once the annoyances are gone, we can start then. In the meantime, sir is to be on your best behavior in looking after your lands to raise no suspicion. Right, we'll do as you say. Guard. Zhao Chen followed Zhuofan's proposal and gave another 30 cities in the Luo clan's care, besides the hundreds of rich lands and spiritual thick mountains. The Luo clan became Devil Mountain's #1 figure. Everyone under the demonic emperor knew that the first demon guard by his side held half of Devil Mountain's power. Zhuofan, the steward, was even more powerful, despite the lousy cultivation. The Luo clan was outstanding as well, handling these new places with precision and honor. In only 3 months, the demonic emperor's cities were transformed and lively, with all the efforts focused on their rightful administration. To the point that the saints looked impressed, leaving for sacred mountains with ease. The moment they were gone, Zhao Chen's ambition knew no rest. "Steward Zhua, we can begin. Let's wait 3 more months just in case," Zhuofan remarked, making the rash Zhao Chen fretful and anxious. Zhuofan not just had the demonic emperor's ear now, but even got him to listen. This was the devious and twisted methods of the great Zhuofan. Zhao Chun had a great advisor by his side, and not listening now would only leave himself to blame when he lost everything. Zhao Chen knew this as well, which was why he did not flatten him on the spot in a fit of rage like he did with all the other fools he had under him. "Who's the demonic emperor here, you or me?" The 3 months passed quietly and Sacred Mountains showed no sign of moving. Zhao Chen's limited patience was running out. "Steward Zhua, now should be good." "Sir, let's be off in search of Nether Sea." Zhuofan nodded. Zhao Chen was bouncing in joy, laughing like he already got the Nether Sovereign's precious cultivation method. Zhuofan smiled at his childish act, looking at the sky. So peaceful, like the calm before the storm, ha ha ha. Chapter 1223 Snatched. Chapter 1223 Snatched. Proofreader, Papatonks. Whoosh. Figures landed in a thick forest, with demonic emperor Zhao Chen in the lead. Behind him was Bali Yu, who brought Zhuofan, as well as a young lady that glanced about. "Steward Zhua, are you certain the entrance is around here?" Zhao Chen asked Zhuofan, who glanced back at Shuang'er. "This is the place, right? We can't make any mistake. It is demonic emperor's great undertaking." "Big brother Zhua, I recognize this place from the stars. It's the right place." Shuang'er nodded with confidence, then she turned grave and squinted at the sun. "The Death Star changes based on the world revolutions and humanity. I need to be certain of its position today, before I can say any more. This shows the path to Nether Sea changes as well." Zhuofan nodded and said, "Demonic Emperor, sir, leave it to Shuang'er. She will find the entrance." The Luo clan is filled with talents. A young lady actually can read the stars, a true gem. Zhao Chen sighed. "It's my fortune to have the Luo clan come to serve under me." Zhuofan smiled. "Demonic Emperor, sir, is too kind. We have nothing but some strange skills from all walks of life. We still need sir's guidance. I only hope that when sir soars, you would remember our efforts today and look after us. It's my only wish. Rest assured that I won't ever forget you devotion, ha ha ha." Zhao Chen laughed, then stared at Shuang'er, as she took 2 steps east, 3 steps west. "This girl looks to know her stuff, but the wait is killing me." After a long and slow period, Shuang'er kept her constant pacing around the forest. As the sun set, she still wore a deep frown. Zhao Chen was tense, thumping with her every step. Can she really do it? With no diviner in his ranks, he could only rely on her. Shuang'er lit up and stood firm. Found it. At the 128th degree of the ecliptic, the Death Star's deviation shifts the central palace and changes the world below. This is the place. Shuang'er stomped with confidence. Zhuofan lit up and came to look. This is the Nether Sea entrance? But how do we get in? Zhao Chen stared down at the grass and asked. Zhuofan smiled, taking out hundreds of sacred stones and setting up an array. Every secret path has to be connected to pocket space. This is the ancient piercing cloud array, and by finding the right door, we can link the worlds and open the barrier to travel. Ancient array. Zhao Chen eyed Zhuofan. You know them? All are kept by sacred mountains, how? Zhuofan smirked. Clan legacy, but only a couple and not stockpiled like sacred mountains, he. Sir, let's hurry and open the door. The Nether Sea is right ahead. Zhuofan rushed Zhao Chen, egging him on. With Nether Sea, Zhao Chen forewent Zhuofan's suspicion, overtaken by excitement. Zhuofan made signs. The gates of the abyss open wide. Spirits and souls stay on the other side. For the path of the nether sovereign I stride. Follow me, my comrades, with courage as our guide. The array flared to life with blinding lights before a beam of light shot into the sky, connecting with a bright star high above. Shuang'er cried, "It's the Death Star. This is the way." The Nether Sovereign used the Death Star to seal it. To open it you must pass through the Death Star as well, then enter the Nether Sea. It's just like the map said. Then I'll go to Nether Sea for Nether Sovereign's cultivation method. Zhao Chen shouted in excitement. It's Providence. Heaven wants me sovereign, ha ha ha. A creepy laugher came just as his reached the peak. Ha ha ha, demonic emperor. You really did crack the Nether Sea map. You didn't let me down, waiting for half a year. Who said that? Zhao Chen shouted and grimaced as he looked back at the familiar fat man. Brother demonic emperor. What I couldn't do in decades, you did it in just a year. You have my respect. Gambling emperor. Zhao Chen ground his teeth. What are you doing here? Did someone leak it? There was no need, for I planned on watching anyone who had the map from the moment I threw it away. But I gave it up. Why are you still stalking us? True, you did give it up, but your acting was too obvious something was up. The gambling emperor snickered. All of Sacred Domain knows of your boiling rage and temper. You just got the map then forced to hand it over soon after, yet you were more than happy to? Something's just isn't right here. Then when we left the hall, you ran away on the spot, becoming even more suspicious. Sure, the possibility of cracking the map was highly improbable, but I still tailed you this half a year every minute on the hour. Lo and behold, you haven't let me down, finding the entrance. Demonic Emperor, thank you for that, ha ha ha. Zhao Chen balled his fists, his eyes spitting fire. He toiled to find this place only to let others take it. Zhuofan watched in silence, snickering in his mind. He long noticed the gambling emperor's gaze, and merely omitted mentioning it. That was why he leaked the truth of the map to Zhao Chen when news of Saint's appearing came. Zhao Chen would then hand over the map and draw attention with his weird behavior, all to fan the flames of conflict. The 5 Emperor War ended up a bust, but now you'll be sure to fight to the death. There's but one Nether Sovereign legacy, and you must keep it a secret as well. Now fight and kill for your survival and future. Zhuofan sneered inside. The two were about to do just that when a proud full voice came. Oh, demonic emperor, gambling emperor. You guys found the entrance and plan on having it all to yourself? We did have a deal, no, so shouldn't you share it with the Ruby Cloud sect as well? Enchanting Empress. The two whipped their heads back. Whoosh. The enchanting empress brought a dozen disciples with her, as she floated down with a smirk. The two huffed, with demonic emperor demanding, Gambling emperor, this broad has a loose tongue. Let's just deal with her first then settle the Nether Sea afterward? It's always best to lower the shares. Agreed. The gambling emperor gave a cold smile, ready to kill. The demonic emperor took a step forward, his eyes cold. The enchanting empress mocked them. You two are so cruel. And we even worked together too. Gambling emperor, weren't you always fair? Now you two are ganging up on a poor frail soul? There's no ganging, but you're just too meddlesome. Zhao Chen leaked black energy. I gave you the copy that you ended up handing over. All cooperation between us is gone. Since this isn't the gambling table, there's no room for honor. Gambling emperor sneered. The enchanting empress smirked. I knew you weren't going to be fair, so I brought someone who would. You won't get rid of me that easily. The two grimaced, their hearts sank. The hag brought help? Who? The Sword Emperor is. Hey punk, are you still having that idiotic dream of taking my junior sister? Well, time to smell the roses, for she already has a man. Fang Ming came up to mock Zhuofan. Zhuofan frowned. Two familiar figures appeared just then. One was Chu Qingcheng, and the other was the young saint He Xiaofeng. His hand was snaked around Chu Qingcheng's waist as he floated down with a grin. Curses, my wife's been snatched after half a year of not seeing each other. Zhuofan shuddered, balling his fists. Zhao Chun and the gambling emperor panicked. Why you didn't return, saint? Chapter 1224, Death's Entrance. Chapter 1224, Death's Entrance. Proofreader Papatonks. Like a match made in heaven, they deigned the world with their presence as he Xiaofeng sneered. Chu Qingqing looked away, unable to meet Zhuofan's eyes. He Xiaofeng had her soft hands gripped in a vice, preventing her from moving away. Rotten lowlife. Zhuofan grimaced, feeling like decking the bastard, but he recalled the bigger picture and reined in his anger. He'd get his chance sooner or later. This isn't over. You don't look too pleased to see me, ha ha ha. The two landed, and he Xiaofeng mocked them as he said, I've been staying over at the Ruby Cloud sect for a few days. Finding Miss Qingqing so charming, I had my senior uncle return. Are you perhaps against my coming? The two bowed at once. Never. Then let's return to the matter at hand, shall we? He Xiaofeng looked at the light pillar. Demonic Emperor, Gambling Emperor. Who can explain what exactly you are doing here? What is this? Pompous bastard. They had no choice but to bow, with the Demonic Emperor beginning. Saint. I found that offering the map to sacred mountains was not enough to show my devotion. Therefore I spent the last 6 months pondering hard before I found the Nether Sea entrance. I was only thinking of taking the lead and removing any dangers that might appear, paving the way for you. Oh, you cracked it without the map? Demonic Emperor, I tip my hat towards you. Yi Xiaofeng's tone dripped with sarcasm. Zhao Chen continued. It's because of my deep devotion to sacred mountains, my endless pursuit to work for them, that gave me the courage and blessing to help you. My meager mind could have never come up with the solution otherwise. Ha ha ha. Good boy, Toadai. Yi Xiaofeng sneered. You're the last disciple of your master, no? I never got to see him. But I heard that the demonic emperor of old was arrogant even against saints, always so self-important. How did he even get a disciple like you? Zhao Chun winced then shook his head. That's why he died. I want to live, so I would never betray the saint's kindness. The enchanting empress sank in thought as well. Unlike the staunch demonic emperor old, this one had no backbone, becoming someone's dog. But were they any different? They turned into dogs much sooner, perhaps, with only Zhu Yifan remaining firm in his stance. The enchanting empress and gambling emperor lowered their heads. Zhuofan squinted and sighed. Coming back to sacred domain, the only thing he feared was the heavenly sovereign finding him out. His main purpose was to find Qingqing, but it wasn't his true reason for coming back. Providence worked in mysterious ways. Maybe he had returned only to finish what Zhu Yifan had started. Looking at you so meek, I guess I'll believe you for now. Yi Xiaofeng sneered at his dog, turning to the light pillar. This is the Nether Sea entrance? How do we go in? The demonic emperor bowed. We don't know. We've been trying to figure out when Sir came. So then do you have any idea? The two shook their heads. Gambling Emperor proposed. The entrance might be a teleportation array, taking us to Nether Sea. Oh, care to test that theory, Gambling Emperor? Me? Yes, you. No, Saint, better leave it to our men just in case. I told you to go and you refuse. Yi Xiaofeng barked. The 8 emperors are the next strongest here beside me. If you're all right, then I'll be fine. If you're in trouble, I'll be cautious. Curse you, using me as your guinea pig. The gambling emperor's face sank as he resigned himself. He walked to the light. It might be fine, but it could also kill him. He still had to go either way. The gambling emperor walked in, with hesitation and anxiety. Light enveloped him, and he found everything to be fine. He looked around to find himself in the same place. What's going on here? Yi Xiaofeng shouted. Gambling Emperor, did you find anything? Can you see the way in? No, there's no difference from outside, only a bit stiffer. The gambling emperor shook his head with a frown. Moving his limbs, cracks echoed, like something snapped. A fading glow then fell from the star above, and then hit his body. The gambling emperor's fine hair turned white just then. His fat body shriveled as wrinkles appeared on his face. The gambling emperor panicked and rushed to leave, but just as he raised a leg, he crumbled to dust. Even his clothes were disintegrated. SSS. Everyone gasped, even Yi Xiaofeng. He aged and died in mere moments under their very eyes. Gulp. Everyone felt their skin crawl. Yi Xiaofeng shook as he glared at Zhao Chun. Demonic Emperor, what the hell is this? Are you positive this is the Nether Sea entrance? Saint, I am. Passing through must be done through a test, I fear. Zhao Chun looked at Zhuo Fan. Steward Zhuo, what is this? Why did he turn to dust just by stepping in? Zhuo Fan pondered with a grave look. Shuangge lit up and pointed at the star above. It's the Death Star. It would unleash its death energy on any that want to enter the Nether Sea, taking their lives. Because there was so much of it, seeping into his bones, he died as if he aged thousands of years, even rotting his bones. Even the entrance has a test. Yi Xiaofeng nodded and said coldly, the Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment must be amazing indeed. Not just anyone can enter. Yi Xiaofeng took out the original map and recited. In Nether Sea's depth, the endless hell, where lost souls roam, their fate foretold. Who dares to tread upon our shore, shall be condemned to suffer more. With mortal eyes forever blind, in the abyss their souls confined. This is clearly a warning. No man can step into the Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment lest they die. Even finding the Nether Sea entrance was pointless, since one just dies in the end. Since we can't go in, forget it. Yi Xiaofeng sighed and looked at the light beam with desire. The rest shook their heads. The Nether Sovereign's legacy was taunting them, but life was more important. Without it, the legacy was moot. Wait! Zhuo Fan shouted, his eyes shining. Maybe there is a way. You know how? Yi Xiaofeng sneered. The Nether Sea killed an emperor, and even I don't dare step in. But a puny bone-tempering cultivator has what it takes? Die then, humph. Zhuo Fan smiled. The Nether Sovereign is an ancient sovereign, so not anyone could just enter into his seat of enlightenment. One needs his guidance to pry into the mysteries of the world and enter. His guidance? What is that? Yi Xiaofeng started. Zhuo Fan pointed at the map. Didn't you just read it? This is a warning for no one to enter. A true warrior does not balk in the face of absolute death. You see it as a warning, while I see it as an invitation. Zhuo Fan grinned. Nether Sovereign showed us the way inside. What? They all stared at Zhuo Fan in disbelief. Where does it say that? There's no mention of it at all. Chapter 1225, Roaming Lost Soul. Chapter 1225, Roaming Lost Soul. Proofreader Papatonks. Zhuo Fan said. The Nether Sovereign said in his guiding poem that lost souls may roam in the Nether Sea, lest they will be destroyed on sight. That's why the gambling emperor had such a grisly death. Everyone nodded. You mean to say only the dead can enter? Yi Xiaofeng rose an eyebrow. Once you're dead, what's the point? Zhuo Fan shook his head. The Nether Sovereign says that a living body can't enter, or they die. Not that entering means death. The roaming lost soul part means renouncing the flesh, so you may drift towards the Nether Sea. Renounce the body? What do you mean? It points at the soul, leaving the body behind so you may enter. Zhuo Fan spoke firmly. Everyone hesitated. That was just too dangerous. A mistake from Zhuo Fan's part meant they would all die. Yi Xiaofeng was grave as he pointed at Zhuo Fan. Is that your idea? Then go test it. Test it yourself. Bali Yu growled from behind in anger. Zhuo Fan tried to stop her. Zhuo Fan had a cruel smile. Sorry, but one needs to be at ethereal stage at the least to wander as a soul. I'm in the bone-tempering stage and can't do it, ha ha ha. Then you go. Humph snapped at Bali Yu. Since you talk too much, you'll go instead. Bali Yu was ready to blow. The only thing keeping her from snapping his neck was that he had power beyond her imagination. Zhuo Fan sighed. Fine, I'll go myself. You stand back. Isn't it impossible for you? I just realized our clan's secret art, and can soul drift even at bone-tempering stage. Zhuo Fan showed an evil grin. It's all thanks to the saint's reminder, or I would have completely forgotten about it. Yi Xiaofeng sneered. Then go already. Use actions to prove your undying gratitude for yours truly. I shall pave Sir's way. Zhuo Fan gnashed his teeth and showed a dark smile. He then sat down to pop out his soul. Bali Yi started. Wait, I'll go instead. No, it's fine. You and Schwanger can wait outside and look after my body. Zhuofan spoke, and turned to the light pillar with uncertainty. It was just a guess he had about the poem, nothing more. He either nailed it, or his soul would get nailed. He could only gamble. Any other nobody could have done this job. But the saint was clearly singling him out to get rid of him. Refusing would just give an excuse to kill him. Since he gambled, let Providence decide. Let's hope luck's with me, and I don't end up like the gambling emperor. Zhuofan grew stern, and he closed his eyes. A faint image floated out of his head, drifting for the light pillar. The others forgot to breathe while watching him test his theory. If a bone-tempering soul had no trouble passing, then it had to be safe. If the soul popped, then they would just think of another way. Everyone was tense and on edge, some over the outcome, others for Zhuofan's safety. Chu Qingqing was worried for Zhuofan's soul as it ventured near danger. But with He Xiaofeng holding her back, she could do nothing. Hurry up and enter. He Xiaofeng was impatient from excitement, even easing Chu Qingqing's hand. Chu Qingqing yanked it out of his grip and sat down. Another faint image appeared over her head and she shot for the pillar. Zhuofan, wait, I'll try. Zhuofan blinked as an image shot by him into the light. Only then did he realize, Qingqing don't. He also went in. Whoosh. Both of them ended up entering at the same time, causing the enchanting empress to shout, Qingqing. They were beyond saving now. No one went in after them either, only staring at the light pillar. A wave of power shot out as the pillar joined with the heavens. The Death Star shone above, and the two souls inside floated higher towards it, gone in an instant. The souls survived and teleported. Zhao Chen cheered. Steward Zhu's theory is right. You need to let go of your body to enter the nether sea. Ha ha ha. Steward Zhua is a genius indeed to solve this riddle. Now we can venture safely inside the nether sea. Bali Yu nodded, relieved. She cared not about the nether sea, but for Zhuofan. The enchanting empress and the girls were excited. Saint, there's no problem, and we can go in. Right. He Xiaofeng was thrilled. Then he regarded the demonic emperor's group. Demonic emperor, walk with me. Enchanting empress, you stay behind and look after my body. Ugh. The enchanting empress panicked. But young master why let them join you? I also want to go to the nether sea. Enchanting empress. He Xiaofeng shouted, sending her. You belong to my father and I trust you the most. The demonic emperor is too devious. I'm taking him along to watch out for his tricks. You stay behind and look after his people and stop them from doing anything. This is the safest solution. Don't betray my father's trust in you. The enchanting empress nodded. Young master thinks of everything. And that Zhuofan. He Xiaofeng's eyes flashed with murder. You're right, Qingqing cares for him, running into danger for him. If he survives, it would only hold Qingqing back. Even if a mere bone-tempering cultivator. Sir wants to. I'll take his life inside the nether sea. No. The enchanting empress advised. Killing the person Qingqing cares about, and you may never get her heart. Qingqing needs to be devoted to you for your plan. I know her heart is more important than her man. I'm not that impulsive. He Xiaofeng gave an annoyed wave. Humph, but with the nether sea so deadly, he might come upon a little accident. All that remains is for Qingqing to never find out about it. The enchanting empress nodded. I'll leave it to young master Just be sure to hide it. You think I don't know that? He Xiaofeng huffed. Then his soul came out before everyone. Demonic emperor, hurry up and join me. Zhao Chen figured out his intent, and gave Bali Yu a look to get ready for anything, before letting out his soul, and following He Xiaofeng. The two entered the light pillar and vanished. The two groups looked after the bodies. Two light pillars shone down and faded to reveal two people, a man and a woman. Looking at herself and finding she was solid, Chu Qingqing started. We can enter with our bodies? I thought only souls could enter. Did you know my soul is a white lotus? I thought you wouldn't recognize me. We're in bodies, probably because we're in the nether sovereign's seat of enlightenment. Zhuofan came before her and sighed. Silly girl, why did you risk yourself for me? If my theory was wrong, you'd have died. Chapter 1226, Crossing the Sea. Chapter 1226, Crossing the Sea. Proofreader, Papatonks. Chu Qingqing lowered her head, flustered. I wasn't thinking, driven to take on any danger in your stead. As for the consequences, it didn't matter even if I died. Ha ha ha, you haven't changed at all. Hugging her, Shuafan rubbed her back with a smile. Chu Qingqing leaned on his shoulder, her heart content to just lay there in his arms. She then cried with a start. Don't misunderstand. Misunderstand what? Shuafan gave her an odd look. Chu Qingqing turned bashful. That he Xiaofeng. I don't know why a saint, having just come to the Ruby Cloud sect, up and started coming on to me. I did tell him that I have someone. Chu Qingqing stammered, her cheeks growing hotter, and Shuafan teased. Chu Qingqing just gave a meek nod, but then she turned sad. That guy just keeps coming on strong, ignoring my feelings, even pestering me every day. Like just now. He just wouldn't let me go once he grabbed me, and I just happened to meet you here. So I'm saying not to misunderstand. There's nothing between us. I know. Caressing her hair, Shuafan smiled. Like I said, you're mine, but not in the sense of possession. I always believe you felt the same way about me. That's why I never doubted for a moment, nor misunderstood. You have nothing to explain. Not expecting him to say that, Chu Qingqing was filled with warmth. Then she hugged him tighter with a gratified smile. Shuafan, thank you. It's only natural. Shuafan patted her back, feeling bloodthirst creeping in from inside. That saint definitely has something planned to be so obsessed with Qingqing. Is he after that thing? With his saintly power, killing him on the outside was impossible without leaving a trail. While in the Nether Sea, who would know? He squinted, his eyes shining with coldness. He Xiaofeng would never think the same bug he wanted to squash in the dangerous Nether Sea was having the same plan for him. He was sure to crack up if he knew. A bone-tempering cultivator kill a saint? Ha! I can just sit there and take it, yet still he couldn't scratch me. This bug he was after, though, had a bite like no other. I didn't know that the Nether Sea became a love nest. An aged voice sighed, his words coming in waves. The two jumped, watching as an old man was walking on the beach with a bamboo basket on his back. Despite his low voice, the two still heard him loud and clear. Shuafan's brow shook. That's strange. I didn't know anyone lived here. The Nether Sea is roamed by lost souls. There are no people here but souls. The old man's ears twitched and looked at him with an amiable smile. Or are you two people? Chu Qingqing stuck her chin out. Of course. People have bodies to house their souls, making it impossible to come here. Here are only lost souls, be it of spiritual beasts or humans. Not souls exactly, but ghosts. The old man smirked. You just don't realize you're dead yet. The souls of the dead from gruesome battles, or from detonations, are fragmented, slowly pieced together in the Nether Sea. With that state comes loss of memories as well. In time, they will come back, though no rush, ha ha ha. Shuafan mulled his words. So even detonation doesn't erase you, recovering your soul in the Nether Sea? He asked. Senior, do all who had their souls scattered can reform here? Not always. The Nether Sea isn't infinite, and can only hold so many roaming souls. It's all up to fate. The old man shook his head and smiled. The fortunate fragmented souls coming here have but a glimmer of hope at survival and reincarnation. The Nether Sea is under the Nether Sovereign's control. He can save some but never all. The nature of all living beings is to perish, while reincarnation is earned. The dead should not feel resentment, for that's how it is. The two nodded. Yes, living brings many trials that born resentment. Does the Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment wash away this resentment? Rumor has it that the Nether Sovereign controls life and death, becoming feared like the King of Hell. Maybe, he is actually a man capable of great compassion or love instead. How did you two kids die? If you want to cross the sea, I can give you a ride. The old man smiled. Cross the Nether Sea? Shuafan started. The old man nodded. Cross the Nether Sea to shed all mortal concerns. You have to let go of everything from the living realm, and pass the Nether Sea to have a chance at reincarnation. Let go. Memories, feelings, love, friendship, hate, anger, revenge, greed, everything. Are there any unwilling to cross? There are plenty of those staying here in the Nether Sea. Many couples just like you were around that ended up food for the sea beasts to absorb their soul's energy. Does that mean crossing get us reborn? Crossing takes a whole month, time in which you shed everything from the past into its waters, for the chance at being reborn. Once you reach the other shore, any vestige of the past that you clung to as you crossed would result in your soul vanishing from the Nether Sea. Scarce are those truly worthy of being reborn. The Nether Sea was just a transit hub, where one shed their past life. By letting go of everything, one would begin anew, a clean slate. This was why no one remembered their past life. Zhuofan thought something. True self-art. Maybe true self-art's core is to let go. Zhuofan felt his heart thumping. The old man shouted, "Hey, do you cross or not? Staying here would let the thick een of the Nether Sea eat your souls, and wasting such a rare chance you got. Senior, we're not ghosts, but looking for Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment. You came here with your souls." "Precisely. Sigh, you just had to come to this hellish place." The old man pointed at the endless sea. "It's been ages since I've last seen living souls. Now there are greedy people practically dying to come here. To get to the Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment, you must pass this area. Not only do countless sea beast ghosts await you there, but also 3 trials before you reach it. Many brave men died on this path. I can't believe such a sweet couple would harbor such greed as well. To what end? Aren't you together now? There's been many others here before us. You thought you're the only one clever enough to solve the puzzle since ancient times?" The old man nodded. "One needs to have the brains and the bravery to solve the Nether Sovereign's riddle as well. Despite all that, there hasn't been one person who returned. Why then, must you go as well?" Ugh. Chu Qingqing's heart tense, looking at the old man with a warm smile. "Hey senior, we changed our minds. We won't go to the Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment, but want to return. How do we do that?" "Humph, now you want to go back? A little late for that." The old man pointed at the shore. "It's hard coming in and harder coming out. You need to cross Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment to return, or forever stay here until death." "You mean cross the Nether Sea and its 3 trials? Yes, you asked for this, didn't you? So don't blame me." The old man patronized. Zhuofan smiled, turning to a bitter Chu Qingqing. "It's fine. As long as we're together, nothing else matters. We've been through this before, haven't we?" "Right." Chu Qingqing nodded, greatly motivated, and said to the elder, "Can you help us cross the sea, to Nether Sovereign's seat of..." Where'd he go? The old man was gone. His voice came up faintly. "I only cross ghosts, never bothering with those fated to come here. If heaven wills it, we'll meet again, ha. His sharp laughter echoed everywhere, but he was nowhere to be found. Chapter 1227, First Trial. Chapter 1227, First Trial. Proofreader Papatonks. "Senior, are you ignoring us?" Chu Qingqing cried at nothing, with silence her only reply. Zhuofan shrugged. "He crosses the dead, not the living. He'll just take us when we breathe our last, ha. What else can I expect from a creep? I don't need his help anyway." "Why, you'd have a chance to be reborn. That means living another life and forgetting everyone. Master, senior aunts, senior sisters, and..." Chu Qingqing paused, peeking at Zhuofan. Zhuofan smiled. "Then we better make sure we live through it." "Right." Chu Qingqing nodded with conviction. Zhuofan took her flying towards the raging sea, vanishing in the distance. As this was Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment, testing them was a given, but it didn't seem to limit their strength either. Except for their earthly vessels, they maintained all their power. Chu Qingqing didn't know this little tidbit, looking oddly at him flying. "You can actually fly here." Maybe the Nether Sea has something to do with it, making me feel so light. There's no way I could fly outside. That would make me a ghost, ha. Chu Qingqing flew along, no longer minding it. A roar boomed with relentless force as a flood dragon shot from the sea, and sent water everywhere, as it went to swallow the 2 of them in its maw. All they noticed was how everything went black the next second, already in its belly. It then went beneath the surface once more and swam without a care. The other sea beasts knew to stay clear. As it cruised, the flood dragon halted all of a sudden and writhed in pain. Bam! The sea exploded as the flood dragon's back got ripped off from inside, and black flames shot out from the wound, after turning its insides to charcoal. Zhuo Fan took Chu Qingqing outside, his eyes flaring in a dark black flame. Chu Qingqing cried, "Zhuo Fan, you're amazing! That was a 10th level spiritual beast, yet you just came out of it like nothing. How did you do that? And what was that black fire?" "Maybe turning into a soul made me stronger." Zhuo Fan gave a sheepish smile. "I certainly have no clue." Chu Qingqing gave him a long look, but let it go in the end. Just that this bone-tempering cultivator got stronger, and could even fly after coming to the Nether Sea. Turning into a ghost makes you stronger? Why not me as well? Roar! Roars came after noticing the commotion here, and the Nether Sea boiled. A flood of spiritual beasts scrambled over, each 1,000 meters long, all surrounding the two tiny human souls. Chu Qingqing watched the beasts she only witnessed in the sex paintings and paled with fright. Zhuo Fan. They're all 12th level spiritual beasts, peak of the sacred domain. We're doomed. Come now, even with these high-level beasts, they're nothing but ghosts now. They lack the power they had when they were alive. Zhuo Fan calculated, confident that the apocalyptic thunder flame and his sacred beast powers could take them. Zhuo Fan's left eye flared blue, and the black thunder flame emerged. Before it even reached them, the beasts howled in agony, lowering their heads before Zhuo Fan. "Lord Cao's envoy, we didn't think to meet you here. I hope Sir can overlook the flood dragon's transgression. Please forgive us." The rest lowered their heads as well. Chu Qingqing started dumbstruck. "Cao? What's that?" Zhuo Fan felt his left eye, coming up with an idea why. The thunder flame could deal with them, but not command them into submission. They were only bowing their heads towards Cao's eye. Why didn't it ever occur to me that heaven-sealing Cao was a lord of the seas? It's obvious now the sea beasts would listen to him. But you're all dead and have come to Nether Sea, yet still listen to Lord Cao. We are sea beasts. Lord Cao is our primogenitor. Where might Lord Cao be right now? Is he alive? The beast did not finish, fearing for their lord's fate. Zhuo Fan coughed. Lord Cao is alive and well. It happened that when I trained in a deadly fire and got out of control, Lord Cao offered his wounded eye to save my life. Lord Cao is my savior. Oh, that means his malice towards humans has subsided. Good. We've been by ourselves and worry Lord would be forever taken in by hatred. For Lord to give his eye to save Sir's life proves Lord's approval of Sir. A pity you are in the Nether Sea now, and must have met with disaster. Could we be of any help? We seek the Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment. Could you take us to it? Zhuo Fan asked. The beasts were put on the spot. You need to pass the trials to reach it first. We've been charged with blocking you, but since Lord cares so much of Sir, we will no longer stop you. As for reaching the Nether Sovereign's place so easily, it's impossible. We can't pass the 3 gates. Then guide us there, and I'll do the rest. Sir, forgive our presumptuous words, but the guardians are incredibly strong. Going there is dangerous. I'm a soul now, so how much worse can it get? I either go or die. The beasts shared a look and nodded. Then please jump on my back, sir, I'll take you. Much obliged. Zhuo Fan smirked, and took Chu Qingqing on the back of the 12th level sea beast. It waded forth like an emperor, with the other beasts acting as its imperial guards. The average beasts had no idea what caused such a group to go out with such ferocity. They made the wise decision to turn tail and scram for their lives. Chu Qingqing and Zhuo Fan stood on the back of the beast side by side. It was astonishing to see all the beasts around them showing nothing but respect to those 2 humans. She was so startled that she gave Zhuo Fan a long look. Outside, he looked like a bone-tempering cultivator, with some status, that offered some incredible assistance. Now, however, he looked like the king of the world. Which is the real him? Is he more suited as a ghost than a human? An all-powerful king of hell maybe? Chu Qingqing was in constant confusion. The clamoring procession of beasts went on. Behind them, an aged figure floated. Ha! Everyone has a hard time coming out of the first trial bruised and weary from those sea beasts' harassment. But this kid had them show the way. Humph, might it be him? An hour later, the couple arrived before a large gate. The two pillars a deep red and hundreds of meters tall. They towered inside the sea, yet they still shone in a terrifying glow. The huge sea beast slowed down, turning to them. Sir, we've arrived at the first pass tyrant gate. Oh, Zhuo Fan casually jumped off with Chu Qingqing, looking at the huge gate. Does the test expect us to push it? The sea beast nodded. Yes, tyrant gate requires boundless strength to open. Only by opening can you meet the guardian, and it's the minimum requirement to face him. Many others got stuck before this gate, even saints. SSS. Chu Qingqing gasped in worry. Don't worry. Those saints had to deal with the sea beasts while opening the gate, so of course they couldn't manage. We're safe now and can go all out. Zhuo Fan consoled her and walked up to the gate to give it a push. It creaked but didn't budge. Zhuo Fan nodded. It sure is heavy. I'll need to use everything I have, or I can't even push it a crack. Zhuo Fan closed his eyes and reached out his hands, with his right shining red. To open the gate, using Qilin power was a must. Despite a soul, his connection to his body was still there, and he could borrow Qilin's strength, just as he borrowed the apocalyptic Thunderflame Eye's fire. Chapter 1228, Guardian. Chapter 1228, Guardian. Proofreader Papatonks. Outside of the Nether Sea, Zhuo Fan sat cross-legged near a pillar of light. His right hand began to shone a bright red, making the air shimmer around him. The enchanting empress looked on curiously. Bali Yu and Schwanger turned grave. It's strange how he keeps swaying and shaking. Did something bad happen inside? Bali Yu whispered to Schwanger. I'm going in to help. Watch over him. Giving the enchanting empress a cautious look, Schwanger nodded. Bali Yu sat down, and a shadow came out of her body, shooting into the pillar and up toward the Nether Sea in a blink. On the seabed of Nether Sea, before the tyrant gate, Zhuo Fan's right hand shone a bright red as he slammed his palm on the heavy door with extreme focus. The water churned under the power for 1,000 miles. Waves reached higher and higher, with fierce winds blowing over the sea's surface. Many of the caverns deep below the surface up and crumbled under such magnitude. The low sea beasts scattered in fright, running for their lives. The huge gate, however, didn't even budge. Zhuo Fan gave the huge slabs of stone a look, and his eyes hardened. Setting into a stance, his right shone even stronger as he gave his all. Even on the bottom of the icy Nether Sea, he was actually sweating. Despite his efforts, the gate would not open, not even a crack. Chu Qingqing was restless, wanting to lend a hand, but her frail body, even in Genesis stage, was like a feather against such a mountain of rock. Zhuo Fan was spent, huffing hard as he gave up opening it. Wiping his brow, he said, Never mind, with the gate so thick, strength just isn't enough to move it. What do we do now? Chu Qingqing asked Zhuo Fan. Since we can't even pass the first trial, do we go back? Zhuo Fan grinned. The Nether Sovereign set up this trial, but since opening won't work, avoiding the problem altogether should do the trick. Trick? Yeah. Zhuo Fan smirked, staring at the huge gate. His right eye shone with black flames. Apocalyptic Thunderflame Eye. Boom! With a huge explosion, black flames shot at the huge gate and burned a 2-meter-tall hole in it, like a mouse making its own way in another's home. The sea beast started and looked at Zhuo Fan with amazement. Lord Cao chose an outstanding human. This gate has never been opened until now. But what will the Guardian think of this method? A 12th level sea beast sighed, speaking earnestly. Sir, inside is the Guardian. You are the first person to see him, best of luck. Thank you. Zhuo Fan cupped his hands at the spiritual beasts, taking the stumped Chu Qingqing's hand and going inside. The spiritual beasts got rowdy as they left. Shouldn't the first gate be pushed open to pass it? Will this method work? Regardless of fairness, it's up to the Guardian to decide. The leading spiritual beast sighed. I just can't believe someone can actually make a hole in it. Is it that ridiculously easy to break? When I reached it, I slammed into it until I was battered yet still couldn't even crack it. Now haha, Lord Cao's envoy is truly amazing. The other spiritual beasts bobbed their heads. Their admiration was short, for a howl came from the burned hole. You have some nerve making a hole in my gate. You broke the rules, and now you shall pay. Ugh. The spiritual beasts looked worried. Guess it wasn't fair after all. Sir will have an even harder time passing through here now. In an empty and large hall, the only decoration was a rotten chair. A scowling and built man sat on it, looking to be in his 40s, having a beard and mustache. His deep eyes were filled with wrath as he snapped at the two people in front. Chu Qingqing jumped in fright, with Zhuo Fan cupping his hands. Senior, we've come to pass the trial, but not for the Nether Sovereign's treasures or legacy, only to live. You have your problem, and I have my solution. By passing that gate, and reaching you means being halfway to solving it. Why do the means matter? I don't want to care either. If you had done it in a more honorable way, then passing me would have been easier. Then the large man showed a vague smile. Only you did it through a trick, making passing me as well that much harder. Sometimes using tricks to solve your problems is the worst choice, especially in serious matters. Do you understand? Zhuo Fan shook, hearing him but not being able to understand. So he cupped his hands again. Senior, how then are we to pass you? Beat me. What? The big man snickered at the two. If you had pushed the gate open, beating me would have been easy, while now ha ha ha. What about now? Zhuo Fan shouted. Enlighten me, senior. Zhuo Fan shot for him, on the offensive, with his Qilin arm shining brightly. Only to find himself flung back, repelled by some force, flipping through the air many times. The big man still sat on his chair with a taunting gaze, 2 fingers outstretched. How is this possible? Zhuo Fan was shocked and his heart sank. His attack was a mere test, which was why he used the Qilin arm, and not the other killing moves or sneak attacks. This test had him floored. He knew the might of his arm very well, with even a saint wanting to avoid such raw power. This man, however, merely flicked him. What made it worse was he felt nothing else than strength. Zhuo Fan grew grave, calculating how to overcome this difficult opponent. Whoosh! Chu Qingqing flashed before the big man, slapping at his chest with her cold attack. Qingqing, don't! Zhuo Fan shouted. You're no match. Don't irritate him. It was too late. The big man mocked, sparing her but a glance. Girl, stay out of this. His voice turned into a storm as it flung Chu Qingqing out of sight in an instant. Zhuo Fan cried out, Qingqing, where did you throw her? To your destination, the Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment. The big man laughed. Aren't I nice? Since you like tricks so much, here's your chance to use them again, by sending you straight to the destination, without having to pass the trials. Though it's hard to say how the Missy will be treated when she reaches it, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan's heart sank, clenching his fists and letting his right eye shine in one golden halo. Divine Eye of the Void's first stage shift. Whoosh! He popped up in front of the man's face, with his right eye now glowing with 2 rings, while his left burned with the black thunder flame. Divine Eye of the Void's second stage, Thunderflame Void Annihilation. Ooh! The deadly flames shot for the man like vipers, the short distance making dodging impossible. Chapter 1229, You won. Chapter 1229, You won. Proofreader Papatonks. Boom! The black flames ran rampant. Zhuo Fan drifted to the floor, staring at the raging blackness. He refused to believe this expert would offer himself up to be blindsided like this. The fact that his face showed no fear, no shock, no reaction to the black flame's sudden attack, left Zhuo Fan increasingly uneasy. Bam! Like he expected, the black flames scattered, revealing the untouched man still sitting in his chair. Reality still proved to come as a shock, despite having considered this outcome. The black flames never failed him, destroying anything they touched, yet they couldn't harm one hair on this big man. The man laughed at his stumped face. Divine Eye of the Void. Qilin's strength, and then there's this black fire. All are amazing things but none mastered, unable to showcase their true talents. Kid, craftiness does not equal enlightenment. Go back. Back. Zhuo Fan was grave. You have set Qingqing off ahead. And you want me to return just to die? Not happening. I don't want to become a ghost here, wandering the nether sea for all time. Zhuo Fan flew once more, his eyes flickering with a black glow as he stretched out 2 fingers. A devastating sword energy gathered. Apocalyptic sword heaven butcherer. Whoosh. Zhuo Fan learned to combine the 5 sword arts into the apocalyptic sword from Sword Child. The black wave of death looked to come to reap all lives in existence. The big man's brow shook for once, laughing. So you weren't just a mixed bag, ha ha ha. Going quite far in understanding the sword sovereign's swordsmanship and actually surpassing it. However, it won't change anything. Tyrant's fist. Bam! Instead of 2 fingers, the man used a punch, striking the black wave to pieces. Zhuo Fan took the brunt of the backlash and got sent flying out of sight. The man pulled back his fist and looked down with a chuckle. To think I'd be up to tricks as well, using Emperor stage strength when up against a spirit king. The boy should have passed me, but I didn't achieve my goal, ha ha ha. As he lowered his hand, a white mark was on it. Ah! Zhuo Fan shouted from being sent flying under that huge power. Through the hole he burned, and into something soft. Only kept on his feet, thanks to a large hand holding him. Huge heads appeared around, looking at him with worry. Sir? Are you all right? Sir, did he hurt you? Sir, what about the girl? Where is she? The spiritual beast chatted, but he had no mind to focus on the kind sea beasts. He stood up, checking his wounds only to find none. He didn't hurt me? That backlash should have at least left me bleeding inside, if not outright dead. Zhuo Fan was puzzled, asking the beasts. Who is he and how is he so strong? He knows so much about Heavenly Sovereign, Sword Sovereign and Qilin. Oh well. The beasts looked away. All the chatter died out on the spot. Zhuo Fan stared hard at them, figuring out that they knew the answer. He threatened. Didn't you respect Cao in life and death? I am asking here as his envoy and you don't respond? Lord Cao knows we can't say anything. One spiritual beast answered, with the others bobbing their huge heads. Zhuo Fan's face twitched. These guys were told to keep their mouths shut. Knowing the enemy and oneself is the path to victory. Against such a powerful opponent, he had to know everything he could, since overpowering was out. That left outsmarting him, only possible if he knew more. Zhuo Fan asked again. The big man inside is so strong, maybe a saint? Then I'll never be able to beat him as a mere spirit king. Ha ha ha, sir, this may be pushing it, but I still have to say that sir has no scheme. He is without a doubt not being hard on sir. Oh, how come? He is always fair, including regarding the stone gate when it comes to the challengers. As sir is a spirit king, then pushing the gate will need spirit king strength, and you'll thus have the chance to pass his trial. For he'll also use the same level of strength, that of spirit king, to fight you. How can that be? Zhuo Fan was skeptical. Just a show sent someone flying for thousands of miles. How is that a spirit king level? It's more within a saint's limit. The beast smiled. Even the same level can have huge gaps, depending on someone's grasp of their strength. But you're right about one thing. When he was a spirit king, he did go challenge a saint. He failed. Yes, but it was shocking to find he came out of the fight in one piece. When he became a saint, he fought and overpowered 112th level spiritual beasts, subduing the spiritual beast world for a while. Later on came Lord Qilin, and only then was his strength matched. What? Zhuo Fan cried out. To not lose against a Qilin? Then he's... Ugh. The spiritual beast covered his mouth, having let it out of the back, rushing to wave off his words. Sir, those are your guesses. I didn't tell you anything. Zhuo Fan was too deep in thought to care about his words, looking at the huge gate with understanding. Zhuo Fan took a deep breath, jumping out of the soft palm, and arriving before the gate. He looked at the hole he burned through with a jeer. He then put his palms on the gate, his right arm flaring red once more. The spiritual beasts were curious. Sir, what are you doing? Didn't you pass the gate already? Shouldn't you be challenging the guardian instead? I have passed it, but not my heart. Zhuofan smirked. Senior was right, tricks aren't everything in life. The gate tests the heart, not strength, leaving no room for being crafty. Zhuofan closed his eyes, using all his strength to push while emptying his mind, focusing only on this one task. The big man's ear twitched and grinned. It's him all right. Abstaining from pride and arrogance curbed, he has remarkable insight. Hours trickled by with the gate not budged even a hair. He kept at it for 8 hours so far, not relaxing a moment, his eyes closed and with a body soaked in sweat. The spiritual beast audience looked dumbly, looking at the gate, and the man like they were one with how neither showed any movement. There's no budging it, so why even insist? Besides, the longer you're at it, the weaker you become, especially without resting. They wanted to advise him against it, but Zhuofan's eyes never opened. So the spiritual beasts gave up. Bam! Then, the sudden noise had the spiritual beasts jump in fright. They gawked as the huge gate rumbled with dust falling from it. The beasts turned to Zhuofan to find the red glow on his arm weakened, yet his eyes closed. Despite his relaxed hands, rumbling echoed out as the large gate got pushed open. Zhuofan smirked as he opened his eyes, strutting inside before the big man. Zhuofan said nothing, merely gave a light punch. A force shot at the man's face, and he was forced for once to punch back. Upon impact, everything within 1,000 miles crumbled, even the ground, from the raw power. Even the nether sea outside the gate roiled, and sent sea beasts into a frenzy. Crack! The big man's chair split apart. The man nodded at Zhuofan. You won. You passed this trial. Chapter 1230, Second Trial. Chapter 1230, Second Trial. Proofreader Papatonks. Thank you, Senior, for your guidance. Zhuofan bowed to the big man, no longer trying to assess the other's identity. The big man walked closer. Extreme power leads to violence. Extreme violence leads to tyranny. Being tyrannical can break anything, even the world. But such a rampage will always come to an end, reaching exhaustion. The exhaustion of power marks the end of the road. Thus, the source of all tyranny is tranquility. Calm as water and relentless like a storm when in action. Once the unrest passes, peace is restored. Do you understand what I'm saying? Bursts of brutality in a sea of tranquility. The storm always passes, while the breeze is eternal. The true path of tyranny isn't destruction, but world peace. Zhuofan nodded. The big man laughed. Indeed, one's insight is always better than the ramblings of an old man. This is the proof you passed the trial. Go. The big man touched Zhuofan's forehead with 2 fingers, a prismatic glow flashing for a blink. Zhuofan shuddered, his mind empty as all the insights made his heart grow once more. Senior, which way is the second trial? Zhuofan stilled himself and asked. The big man smirked, grabbed his shoulder and threw him. Allow me, ha ha ha. Whoosh. Ah. As Zhuofan's wailing faded in the distance, the big man nodded, just as an old man appeared behind. He was the same old guy Zhuofan met on the nether seashore. The demon transformation art didn't reject it. He has only begun stepping on the path of tyranny, but he did receive it. The big man sighed. The old man nodded. This way, our plan is finally showing hope. Boom! A huge explosion happened above the nether sea, causing it to roil. The two exchanged a glance and turned grave. A heavenly sovereign. In the gloom of the seabed, something smashed into a 2-meter-tall wooden gate, turning it into splinters. Where am I? Zhuofan stood up, dusting himself off and looked at his surroundings. Who? A black smoke rose, shooting before him. After all these eons, I finally get to see someone reaching the second trial, ha ha ha. Zhuofan jumped in fright, putting 100 meters between them. Looking back, he only saw black mist. Senior, are you the second guardian? Thinking he was renowned as well, Zhuofan gave a deep bow, sizing the hidden figure in the ruined gate. That's the second trial's gate? Did I just cross it? The black mist cackled. Hi, of course. What else would you call smashing straight through the gate? What next, senior? How do I pass the trial? Beat me. Just like the first trial? Zhuofan shouted. The black energy mocked. He. I'm not so honest and kind like that yokel to give you a warm-up. I'm more blunt. In this trial your life's at stake. You either pass or be buried here. Zhuofan shuddered in shock. Having passed the first trial, he knew the guardians were great men. The big man had no intention of killing him, instead guiding him on a new path. This man, however, went straight to a deathmatch. I know nothing about him. How do I win? Senior, are there any rules? Will you stay as Spirit King when fighting? Ha, you're overthinking things. I'm not as chatty as that yokel going all out. Ha, take this. Whoosh! The black mist turned into an arrow and shot for Zhuofan. It caught him by surprise and pierced through him. Black mist began seeping out of him, with a black figure leaning on his back. Zhuofan was utterly confused, but just to be safe, he jumped away from that man. What he saw from afar made him gasp. Why you? He, yes, I'm you. The shadow turned around as well, showing Zhuofan a familiar face. The shadow turned into another him, copying not just the features but mannerism as well. Zhuofan felt he was looking in the mirror. Zhuofan smirked. Senior W, what is this? This is the second trial, know thyself. The shadow snickered. I won't go hard on you, using only your strength to fight you. One would argue that you know yourself best, but with me being you, I also know you. Who do you think will win? Ha. Zhuofan calculated, his mind calming. It was baffling fighting himself, but at least they should be evenly matched. A little strategy should bring him success. Against the strange old man, however, if he went all out, he had no chance of winning. This made this trial way easier than the first. Zhuofan raised a hand. After you. Quite calm, I see. The opponent smiled. You must think the fight's in the bag. Ha. Well, I say that everyone ends up losing to themselves. Throughout life, no matter the strength one has, their true opponent is no one but themselves. The man's eyes shone and waved a finger at Zhuofan. Apocalyptic sword. Whoosh! A black sword wave shot straight for Zhuofan. Zhuofan panicked. He copied my skills too. The apocalyptic sword art only came to be from the insights in the other 5 sword arts. He only just grasped it. Even if the other was at sword sovereign's level, even he would need time to learn it. This was impossible. One sword is built on their insights, how can? He had no time to answer all these questions, for the deadly wave was upon him. He extended 2 fingers and retaliated with the apocalyptic sword art as well. Bam! The deadly attacks rumbled the world around them on contact, making the sea boil. Zhuofan staggered back twice, while the other stood still. How is that possible? Zhuofan gasped. Isn't his strength the same as mine? Why did he win that exchange? The man snickered. They say you know yourself best, but you're the most oblivious of yourself as well. Zhuofan, do you still think you can win? Zhuofan grew grave, his eyes cautious. His arts were copied, his strength too, but what was worse, he knew him better than himself. Winning won't be easy. Zhuofan found his greatest opponent. Whoosh! The copycat vanished, appearing behind him. Zhuofan was nervous, for the copycat had a golden halo in his right eye. Even the divine eye of the void. The glow turned into 2 rings while the left eye flared with the black thunder flame. Curses, it's my thunder flame void annihilation. Zhuofan was soaked in sweat, his heart racing. He never thought he'd see the day that his invincible skill would be set on him. The copycat snickered, showing the same cruel gaze he himself used on his enemies. Chapter 1231 Shadow. Chapter 1231 Shadow. Proofreader, Papatonks. Against imminent death, Zhuofan responded with the same deadly attack, his eyes flashing gold and black respectively, as he unleashed a thunderflame void annihilation of his own. Bam! The resounding explosion sent black flames swirling everywhere, actually burning the water to nothing. Zhuofan got flung 1,000 meters, his eyes burning as blood trickled down. While the copycat, Blast it, he's still in the same spot and mocking me. Zhuofan's heart sank. He's godlike, knowing both my skills, and ending up way stronger than me on top. The longer he fought, the worse it would be. Zhuofan was at an impasse. The copycat laughed at his conundrum. Where did all that bluster go? Didn't you think it was going to be easy than the first trial? Senior, why must you go so far? What do you get out of this? Oh, you still think I won't kill you, ha ha ha. The copycat smiled. Do you know how long I have been in this place? Without a body, I am stuck in this nether sea for all eternity. Doesn't nether sea have reincarnation? Why haven't you tried yet? Reincarnation? The copycat's eyes turned vicious, his smile mocking. Reincarnation means relinquishing everything. It's impossible for me who has so many things I'm clinging on to. I have my own way, reborn without reincarnating. I'll just destroy a human spirit and possess his body. Alas, no such specimen has darkened my door. Now that you're here, I'll kill your spirit and take your body and be reborn. Hi hi hi. The copycat cackled while dashing for Zhuofan while unleashing Sundering Sword, Heaven-Sealing Sword, Soaring Sword, Vaulting Sword and Decimating Sword strikes to obliterate him. Zhuofan jumped back again and again, dodging out of the whirlwind of death. The close calls and the thick bloodlust he sensed from the slashes had him shudder. Plop! Zhuofan got struck by 3 sword waves, one through each hand, and one through the shoulder. The pain was agonizing, a pain felt in the soul. Zhuofan was used to it by now, though. The problem was how to deal with the relentless copycat. Zhuofan brightened just then, finding hope in one aspect. The copycat has taken all my skills, but does that include my recent insight as well? Zhuofan halted his movements under the rain of sword energy, stilling his mind. At extreme power, tyranny obliterated in an instant. Qilin Fist. Zhuofan punched, with the tip exploding in a brilliant red. Boom! The space warped around him as the nether sea roiled. The horrible power crushed all in its path, as it went for the copycat. Not even the sword energies could withstand it. The tyrannical path he gleaned in at the first trial matched the Qilin's power, to a degree that it could take on a saint. The copycat merely smiled, shocking Zhuofan by punching as well, using the exact same motions Zhuofan did. He can copy even this. Ha ha ha, I told you I'm you. I have what you have. The copycat smashed forward, but far stronger. Bam! The punches met and the water boiled. The black cracks around them spread in every direction, but the strongest shockwave came straight for Zhuofan. The copycat had crushed his attack again. Zhuofan couldn't believe this was happening. Am I helpless against some pretender? Bam! The aftermath flung him half a mile, making his entire body feel pain and weakening him. As he slumped to the ground, he was too weak to even get up. The only saving grace is I'm a soul without innards, or I'd be turned to paste by now. Whoosh! The copycat flashed before him with a savage grin. Ha ha ha, you lost and couldn't pass the trial. I will now use your spirit to be reborn, ha ha ha. Huff! Zhuofan panted, struggling to get up, only to sprawl back down in weakness. He closed his eyes, giving up. The copycat laughed harder, as he placed a hand on Zhuofan's head. It's over, Zhuofan. Divine Eye of the Void 8th stage blink. Zhuofan flashed his eyes open, and his right eye shone in 8 golden rings. The copycat's chest sported a hole in it as he froze in place. Zhuofan glared at him in his shaking hand. Didn't you have all my skills and strength? Don't you know the Divine Eye of the Void 8th stage can transfer any of my attacks to you through space? Ugh! The copycat frowned then sneered. Of course I did, I just didn't care. Zhuofan stared hard. The copycat mocked, take a look down. Zhuofan stared and found his chest having an extra breathing hole as well, in the same spot as the copycat. Looking up at the copycat, the chest was healing. Zhuofan was perplexed. Ha ha ha, who do you think I am? The copycat cackled. I told you that I'm you. Harming me is harming yourself. Kill me and you kill yourself. All harm you do to me you do to yourself. You can do nothing to me. Zhuofan shuddered. No way. Why then are you fine with all the wounds you caused me? The copycat gave an insufferable grin. Zhua Fan was so confused, he didn't know what to do. I can't harm the copycat no matter what I do. He's even stronger than me. How am I even supposed to win? Since this was a trial, there had to be a way to pass it. Zhua Fan frowned hard in thought. The copy sneered, floating 100 meters above and pointed at Zhua Fan. Main farewell. From now I'm Zhua Fan, ha ha ha. Zhua Fan was still puzzled, even as the killing move came for him. Why does he have my divine eye of the void and apocalyptic thunder flame? He even has my recent insight on the tyrannical fist. It's like seeing another me. No one else can have my insights to such flawless degree. Not even a sovereign can do it. Zhua Fan looked up at the same face marred by the savage grin, and spread his arms as he gambled. The copycat's sword strike ran through Zhua Fan's chest, and the two bodies clashed, with the heads facing each other. The copycat didn't look happy at his win, while Zhua Fan was calm. When did you notice? The copycat spoke. Zhua Yifan said, just now. I can't kill you since I get wounded instead. This means we're one. You've also been going on that you are me as well, Zhua Yifan. You won, Zhua Fan. It looks like I won't be able to be reborn like last time by taking over your body, ha ha ha. The copycat turned into a black mist and entered Zhua Fan. Zhua Fan's eyes were vague. When he snapped out of it, he found himself sitting down and unharmed before a broken wooden gate. There was not a trace of battle around. His shadow floated away, forming a man in black 3 meters away as he congratulated. Zhua Fan, you passed. Chapter 1232 Third Trial. Chapter 1232 Third Trial. Proofreader Papatonks. Thank you, Senior. Zhua Fan stood up and bowed before the shadow. Senior, was everything that happened an illusion? Yes and no. What does it mean? An illusion is fake, but the contents can be real and fake. The shadow replied, those were the doubts your heart had. Zhua Fan asked, if I had died in there, would I have died now? Yes and no. And what does that mean? Zhua Fan would have died, while the one who lived. Zhua Yifan finished. My current self would have died, while the old me would be reborn. The shadow nodded. You can see it like that, but dying would be an exaggeration, since you're both one. The one remaining would control the heart. Are demonic Emperor Zhua Yifan and the current Zhua Fan's hearts the same? Zhua Yifan shook his head. Zhua Fan came from the mortal domain, while Zhua Yifan was a genius of the sacred domain. Their hearts diverged long ago. Why then do you still accept him? The shadow smiled. As hearts differ, so do their paths. With both of you sharing the same space, it will lead to conflicts. That leads to inner demons. You don't remove him but accept him instead? Zhua Fan smiled and shook his head. Hearts change, but be it for good or bad, I can never deny who I was. The path I tread today was built on his remnant. Denying it means destroying my future, just like how my strike hurt me instead of him, for we are one. Marvelous. The shadow gave a bright smile. Many saints that have gained power turn their back on their past, if not erasing it completely, focused only on seeking the sovereign stage. They are blind to the truth, that this action destroys their very selves. Each person's path leaves its mark from the very first step one takes. Erasing this mark will crush any chance at finishing their journey. This is the reason behind there being so many saints, yet hardly any reaching the sovereign stage. Thank you, Senior, for your guidance. Zhua Fan bowed. The shadow floated before Zhua Fan, and reached with a finger on his forehead, shining prismatically. If it had been Zhua Yifan before me instead, I would have sent you back. I'm glad it's Zhua Fan, and now you have passed the trial, ha ha ha. Zhua Fan felt his heart becoming clearer, understanding deeper insights. He found with a start that he had grown in heart and mentality. Senior, may I go to the third trial? Of course, let me send you off. With a wave, Zhua Fan found a black gate before him. He gave it a long look, but then someone pushed him inside. The shadow waved again, and the gate vanished. Whoosh! The sea-crossing old man, and the big man appeared next to him, nodding as Zhua Fan vanished. He passed again. I feared he would choose the old stubborn path. Yeah, since Zhua Fan of now is also the Zhua Yifan of before. The shadow sighed and rejoiced. I was worried as well that he'd become Zhuo Yifan, ruining all our hard work. Zhuo Yifan is the epitome of a demonic cultivator, obstinate and narrow-minded. He's unable to grasp the core of the demon transformation art, or accept our paths. If Zhuo Fan had been hostile and denied his former self, he would have become that narrow as well, and his heart would have closed up. What fortune it never came to be. The two nodded. Many people believe what they do is right while shunning others that do the same thing. They don't realize that everyone else is their reflection. It's funny how the world is filled with fools, fighting with themselves. Our efforts have borne fruit, for Zhuo Fan accepted his past and steps closer to the Tao. It's too soon to tell. There's one last trial to go before the Nether Sovereign's test. Any deviation means everything we worked for is lost, and the final victor will be the Heavenly Sovereign. The big man was grave while the other sighed. Rumble. The three looked up at the sky and tensed. Our 4 sovereign paths have been holding the Nether Sea for so many years against the Heavenly Sovereign, but with 2 of us having been passed on, there's no telling how long before the Nether Sea falls under his assaults. I just hope it'll be enough for all the inheritances to be passed on. Boom! Another rumble came from above, making the entire sea roil, and the sea beasts rushing into hiding, all of them. Ah! Zhuo Fan slammed into the ground once more with a familiar cry. This place was way weirder than the last ones. There were pinwheels, wooden horses, swings, rocking chairs, and many more toys. Zhuo Fan's face twitched. The first trial had a huge stone gate, almost impossible to open, but there I gained the tyrannical path. The second trial was facing my former self, to temper my mind. The seniors were quirky, and had their own styles as mighty seniors. So what then is up with the third trial? A playground? I wouldn't have bought this stuff for young Sanzi 100 years ago. Zhuo Fan was on high alert regardless, shouting after seeing no one. Is this the third trial? Senior, could you come out? Silence. Zhuo Fan searched around, but there wasn't any sign of any man around. Whoosh! A shadow flashed behind that startled Zhuo Fan. Looking back, there was no one there. Pa! Another person appeared behind him again and Zhuo Fan swished around, but still no one. Senior, please, enough with the games. You have enough power to toy with me to death. Ha ha ha. I am close to dying of boredom, all alone for so many eons. Don't worry, I won't get tired of you anytime soon. A child's voice echoed, making Zhuo Fan flinch. Looking back, he still found no one there. Senior, does passing the third trial imply beating you as well? Why beat me? The child giggled. Since you want to pass, the goal is hide and seek. You find me and you pass. Hide and seek. Zhuo Fan frowned. Isn't that just random? Is that what you think? The child started. Then let's play with the wooden dolls. When to pass? Curses, now the topic changed at random? There's no logic behind it. Unlike the other 2 seniors, this guy's all over the place. Is this the third trial's guardian? Zhuo Fan's face twitched and shook his head. Senior, can you please not joke around? I really want to pass. But isn't this a little beneath you? Beneath me? A big guy like you wants my respect? A figure flashed before Zhuo Fan, an 8-year-old child. He might look like that, but the eyes hid wisdom, while the face showed pride as he looked down of sorts on Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan had a weird feeling. It was like meeting young Sanzi again. He should have called young Sanzi a senior back then as well, but it was just too hard to say that to someone so young in body and mind. Oh, senior is a dead sacred beast as well. Hey, I'm human all the way. The child huffed and stuck out his tongue. Buddy, ever heard of the best talent in antiquity? Best talent? Zhuo Fan mulled. Isn't that the Heavenly Sovereign? He's the first among the 10 sovereigns. Bah, his cultivation is the greatest, but he's not the best talent. The child turned smug. Talent is excelling in youth, achieving in their prime, and continues to dominate in their seniority. Look at me, my looks, my everlasting youth. Aren't I an excelling youth? The Heavenly Sovereign has nothing on me. He can only stay in his 20s at best. In other words, he got his success at 20, reaching a cultivation enough to not grow old only then. But me, I got it all at 8. Who's the genius now? Chapter 1233, Child Sovereign. Chapter 1233, Child Sovereign. Proofreader, Papatonks. Zhuofan sized him up and shouted. I heard that among the 10 sovereigns, the last one is the child sovereign, having found his path in youth. Can it be that, sir? Hey, leave that last part out. The child sovereign's face twitched and sneered. We're all sovereigns yet talk behind another's back? Especially those 3, having no shame calling themselves the top of sovereigns. And when it's my turn, they label me as the runt. Couldn't you have come up with the ultimate talent instead? Are you looking down on me because of my looks? Zhuofan chuckled, bowing with respect. Forgive me, sovereign. But even so, sir is still a sovereign, a realm all want to achieve and never could, even if they get a poor title. I'd rather not hear you saying that about me. I'm not much worse than the other 9 either. The child sovereign flared his nostrils, looking at Zhuofan with a cold gaze. Buddy, did you come to pass the trial? Yes. Just go home. You won't make it. Why? I didn't even try. You're still asking why? Because you mentioned that title, that's why. Humph. The child sovereign stuck out his tongue. You called me last, so I'll keep you in the nether sea until you rot. Zhuofan sighed. The child sovereign looks like a kid, but he's been a sovereign for countless eons, unlike Gu Santong. So how can he still act like one? Just how did he become a sovereign anyway? What's his path? Regardless, he's being hard on me on purpose. At least I've been through this before with young Sanzi. Maybe I'll just coax the young sovereign. Just what made them stay the same after years and years. Sovereign, that was but a slip of the tongue. In truth, everyone respects and admires Sir the most among all the others. Zhuofan beamed, putting on an amiable look as he sucked up to him. There has never been one with more talent than Sir in all of history. There hasn't been any youth achieving their paths for so long. Even my godson, Gu Santong, it was because he was a young sacred beast that he had so much power. But he also grew up in the end. Only Sir, forever young, can outclass all the other sovereigns. They must be jealous of your talent to call you last. But Sir isn't last, to me, you are the first. Child sovereign gave a wide smile. Truly? More real than you and I. Just with your youthful looks, none of the others can match. They must be dying with envy, ha ha ha. Zhuofan smirked, running his mouth. It was an amazing feat attaining one's path at such an age, making him unique. But no one wanted to be stuck as a sniveling brat. The child sovereign's talent was incredible, but he was stuck in this form, and could only console himself. Why would any other sovereigns ever be jealous of a shorty? Even Zhuofan wouldn't want to be like him. The child sovereign nodded, being as simple as his name implied, making a little flattery work on him. Right, you have good eyes, pal. So you want to pass? I'll give you a hand. Since you adore me so much, I can let you go through no trouble. But before that, I am guarding this trial on behalf of the Nether Sovereign. I have to play my part, or he'll nag me later. Please do, Senior. Zhuofan rejoiced. The other trials were dangerous, but both got him something great. The last trial had to be up to par as well, and he was looking forward to it. Child Sovereign beamed. So I'll go easy on ya by playing catch. Grab me and you pass. Zhuofan's face twitched, shaking his head. Sovereign, isn't this too easy? Does Sir have a deeper meaning behind the children's game? What else can help you pass? Oh, only passing. Zhuofan felt let down for overthinking it. He feared it might be something impossible and would have failed. But now it was way too easy and he'd get nothing. I'm so picky. The child sovereign saw through him. Why, you like pain? Can do. The same game. But this time I'll make sure you'll be stuck here till you rot. Zhuofan's heart sank. Having gone through 2 trials, he knew the sovereigns had a reason for being mysterious and acting so strange. Maybe the game's the same. Zhuofan nodded gravely. Please guide me, Senior. Zhuofan shot to grab the child sovereign. Whoosh! The child sovereign vanished then and there, popping behind him on a wooden horsey. Still think it's easy, not even able to reach me? Whoosh! Zhuofan flashed as well, and reached out for child sovereign's shoulder. I knew that even a restrained sovereign is impossible for me to overcome so easily. Zhua Fan sounded from behind Child Sovereign, his right eye shining in a golden halo as his hand was inches from the child. Zhua Fan felt some uneasiness as he continued. Of course, if Sovereign used some mystical art, I would never ever be able to do it in a million years. Reverse psychology, is it? The Child Sovereign's eyes shone and snickered. Relax, I'm quite conscientious when playing and won't break the rules. Though it's not like it'll make a difference, you sneaky rascal, ha ha ha. Zhua Fan watched him on top of the strangely swaying wooden horse, just as his hand grabbed at the child's shoulder, without touching him. I couldn't catch him even at such a distance? Zhua Fan was startled. The Child Sovereign was on the same swaying horse, giggling. I didn't move this time, but you still couldn't catch me? Ha ha ha. The Child Sovereign scurried over to a nearby bed, laughing. Zhua Fan was grave. The Child Sovereign has some weird movements. It looked like he used the swaying wooden horse to avoid me. Such precision and subtlety is just what a sovereign can do. He's weaker now, but he has experience and mentality to help him take on anyone. Zhua Fan's brow shook, his right eye shining golden. Freeze. The Child Sovereign's space turned solid and Zhua Fan reappeared to try and touch him, only for Child Sovereign to vanish once again. Illusion. Zhua Fan's heart raced. I didn't use any skill, having slipped away before you reached out. The Child Sovereign sounded from behind. Zhua Fan saw him on a swing, moving his feet around with a smile. So fast. Zhua Fan gasped. He's restrained yet can move faster than my divine eye of the void. A sovereign is on a whole other level. He doesn't have just strength, but many insights and skills to widen the gulf from the rest. Zhua Fan was eager to fight, shooting for the Child Sovereign with the divine eye of the void shining brightly. He flashed on and off, his hands moving and forming a net to trap the Child Sovereign. The kid's image warped like a mist, small or big, as it slipped through the net with his annoying snicker. The playground found itself scoured by two figures, running all over the place as one chased and the other dodged. Zhua Fan gasped, huffing after 4 hours of no results. The Child Sovereign was giggling still from the swing. Brat, tired already? Look at me, I'm not even out of breath. You're a sovereign, how's that a comparison? It's just catch. Yet you've been up to your old tricks and guile all this time. Of course you'll wear out. The Child Sovereign sighed. Pal, do you know the best animal to catch a mouse in his den? Zhua Fan said, a cat. Fool, the mouse itself. The Child Sovereign mocked. You only want to catch me, not play along. Since you can't go along with the flow, how can you catch me? Do you even know how or where I'm dodging? Zhua Fan shuddered, his mind abuzz. Chapter 1234. Return to your roots. Chapter 1234. Return to your roots. Proofreader Papatonks. Zhua Fan took a deep breath and closed his eyes. When he opened them, they lost their edge. The Child Sovereign nodded. Again. Sure. Zhua Fan shouted as he smiled and went after the Child Sovereign. He still couldn't touch him. However, he no longer looked so stressed out, but casual as he went after Child Sovereign again and again. He got so into it. Zhua Fan forgot how many times he'd been doing it, and instead enjoyed the game just for the fun of it. Zhua Fan ran all over the place, finally feeling that the Child Sovereign was almost within grasp. Pa! Zhua Fan's hand missed the Child Sovereign, but then he grabbed out of reflex to his side, actually feeling flesh. Zhua Fan looked back at the Child Sovereign's smile. I got you. Congrats, you passed. The congratulations no longer sounded childish, his face turning mature as he nodded. Zhua Fan said, passed what? Then it hit him that he had been playing the Child Sovereign's game to pass the third trial. He was just so engrossed that he forgot about anything else as he chased the Sovereign around. You've accepted the new change of pace, good. The Child Sovereign sighed. Now wasn't that fun playing a game? Wasn't it great to forget all your worries? Zhua Fan nodded. The Child Sovereign sighed at the sky. Kid, I'm the best talent in the world, having found my path since very young. Everyone thought I was the strongest human, their representative and hope. But I've become a sovereign 100,000 years later than the other 9, the so-called last. Do you know why? Please enlighten me, Senior. Zhuofan bowed. The child sovereign continued. Achieving success in youth means becoming the center of everyone's hopes and responsibilities, yet having scarce experience. No knowledge and no guidance had paused my cultivation at peak saint for ages. In the end, all the other 9 advanced, with only me left behind. I was confused, disillusioned, whining, dragging my feet, and then shouted at the sky, what more did it want? I've seen many famous masters, asking without shame for guidance. I've gone through trials and hardship, only to realize that what I lacked was living. Living. Yes, living. The child sovereign spoke. At birth we come into this world wanting nothing, no fame, no power, free and light. Only as we grow do we yearn for wealth and fame, pursuing lofty dreams while burdening ourselves with much more and more weights. Myself the most, being humanity's top, I had heavy burdens on me, glory and duty. The joy and pain robbed me of plain living. So I've spent those 100,000 years doing just that, living. I even acted as a child and played with other kids to mend the hole inside me and become a sovereign. My path is that of average, returning to my roots. The child sovereign faced Zhuofan and patted his shoulder. Brat, no human starts off burdened. All the worries you have are things you pick as you pursue your goal. By picking them up, you need to learn to also let go of them. Haven't you done just that since now? Return to your roots, that of an innocent child. Observe the world, and you will catch me. I can't thank you enough, senior. Zhuofan bowed. Child sovereign smiled and pointed 2 fingers on Zhuofan's forehead, flashing prismatic. This is your proof to reach the nether sovereign's seat of enlightenment. A harsher test awaits you. Zhuofan shuddered and felt a cool feeling taking over his heart, bringing him peace. A sovereign, where might the nether sovereign's seat of enlightenment be? Zhuofan bowed. Child sovereign smirked and pointed at a wooden horse. Giddy up, it will take you there. That. Zhuofan winced. Sovereign, don't you have anything normal instead of a toy? It's too not flashy enough? I got a wooden lion with a royal air, if that's more of your style. That won't be necessary. Zhuofan sighed. It's not gaudiness, just that going on a wooden toy to see the nether sovereign is a little lame. What's so lame about it? I always go over there like that. The child sovereign glared at him. Didn't I tell you to let go? You expect to reach your path clinging onto all those biases from the secular world? Fine, since you won't go home. No, I'll take it. Zhuofan rushed to stop him, putting on a grimace as he got on the wooden horse. He struck a funny image, a grown man riding a children's horse. He still looked stylish though. The child sovereign burst out laughing. Zhuofan sighed. Sovereign, you must be bored to death, using games to toy with me. But I can take it, for I respect my seniors. Better keep that to yourself, and have your last shred of decency, ha ha ha. Go. Pa. Slapping the horse's butt, the wooden horse shot forth like a shooting star. Zhuofan was gone before he knew it. The child sovereign smiled. This leaves the nether sovereign's side. Old friend, it's up to you now. Boom. Cataclysmic explosions rumbled as the sky cracked, and the nether sea boiled. Child sovereign sighed. Heavenly sovereign, you're here. The child sovereign vanished. He reappeared high in the sky along with 3 other figures. They said with urgency, how was it? Did he pass? Isn't it obvious since I'm here? The child sovereign looked at the sky and at the spreading cracks with clenched fists. How long will it last? The trio shook their heads. Heavenly Sovereign's divine eye of the void's 2nd stage. Void annihilation is designed to break barriers. With only one sovereign path remaining, with the nether sovereign linking with the nether sea, I believe it would last at most 1 hour. In other words, the nether sovereign must pass on his life and death path in this short time before all is for naught. The child sovereign ended. Dark clouds loomed in the horizon, with a minute light trailing among the gloomy weather. How's this wooden horse so fast? The biting winds made Zhuofan's ride unpleasant, shocked at the toy's speed. In moments he was on a bleak mountain, with a stone platform made up of 3 square meters black blocks. A wooden cross stood tall on the platform, with a familiar figure tied to it struggling to break free off those bonds. Ching-chung. Chu Ching-chung started and cheered. Zhuofan. The image of Zhuofan on the wooden horse left her speechless. Just where did you find that weird ride? She then snapped out of it. Zhuofan, help me. I'm coming. Zhuofan shot off the horse before it landed, only to freeze on the spot the minute he touched the ground. He watched as gray mist floated from below, and grabbed his legs. Apocalyptic thunderflame eye. Zhuofan let out the black thunderflame, burning the gray mist and making it wail. You dare? Who is running amok in my seat of enlightenment? Chapter 1235, Lost Souls. Chapter 1235, Lost Souls. Proofreader Papatonks. Whoosh. As the eerie wind blew, gray mist fell from the skies above, turning into a dark and aged face staring down the two with bloodthirst. My seat of enlightenment. Chu Qingqing was baffled. Does that mean he's? Zhuofan rushed a bow. Greetings, Nether Sovereign. It's really the Nether Sovereign? Didn't he die? Chu Qingqing was stumped. Why then is everyone fighting over his seat of enlightenment then? They're only getting themselves killed trying to steal from the owner. She didn't know what to think of all those greedy fools. It was said that the 10 ancient sovereigns fell, and finding their seat of enlightenment would mean inheriting their legacy to become a sovereign. Since the guy was still alive and you're trying to steal his stuff, you must be itching to die. The Nether Sovereign glanced over and sneered. I am Nether Sovereign, ruling over life and death. Death won't stop me. Since my Nether Sea can hold lost souls, why can't it hold myself? Huh? Chu Qingqing bobbed her head. Yeah, the Nether Sovereign is the patriarch of all lost souls. With the Nether Sea holding them, it can have him as well. Those out there must be unbearably naive to go after the Nether Sovereign stuff of all people. But we were not here to take anything. We just got involved by accident. What a cruel fate. Senior Nether Sovereign, we have come here by accident and only wish to return to our world and not take anything. I hope Sir will pardon us. Zhuofan bowed. As per your demands, I passed the 3 trials. Please let us go. Chu Qingqing bobbed her head. The Nether Sovereign sneered. Trials? Right, I did set those up so one could see me by passing them. But that does not guarantee you'll get to leave with your life. A chance isn't the same as certainty. It's all up to my mood. Senior Nether Sovereign, are you perhaps happy now? Anything but. Why? Zhuofan and Chu Qingqing asked. Nether Sovereign scorned. You expect me to smile when some brats barge in, messing up my concentration. Rumble. A boom came from up above, and the Nether Sovereign turned grave. However, I won't go hard on you and shall give you a choice. One of you shall stay and one can return. You choose. I'm staying. Both shouted at the same time. The Nether Sovereign cackled. Ha ha ha, that was quick. Was I being too easy perhaps? Then here's another. Senior, you're a renowned sovereign. How could you not keep your word? Chu Qingqing tensed and looked at Zhuofan. Since you're letting someone go, let him. I will become a lost soul. Zhuofan remained silent, because he knew the problem was simple and complicated. Neither of them wanted the other to become a lost soul. The Nether Sovereign had brought up this question, because he already had a solution in mind. The Nether Sovereign smiled. I told you that you have a chance to walk away alive. Since you couldn't choose it, let me help you. The Nether Sovereign's eyes shot 2 gray rays that created a huge hole in the air. Howling and booming came from beyond. The two of them saw familiar people running, chased around by a tide of shadows. Yi Xiaofeng and Zhao Chun were being hounded by the Nether Sea's souls. Bali Yiyu was there as well. What's she doing here? Zhuofan was worried. The Nether Sovereign turned to them. Your enemy and your friend are there. Now since only one can live, who will you choose? Zhuofan fell silent. Between him and Chu Qingqing, he would pick Qingqing without delay. His life was his own, and didn't matter what happened as long as he passed on with clear conscience. But Bali Yiyu's sudden entrance made it harder. Dying because of him would make him feel guilty. Zhuofan never owed anyone anything, and this made the choice that much harder. Go! The Nether Sovereign laughed, blowing over them and sending them among the sea of lost souls. Bam! Yi Xiaofeng met an old man's palm with his own, sending him reeling and his blood boiling. despite being a soul. Curses, there are saint souls here. The Nether Sea is too difficult. Oh, Qingqing, you're here. You found them? Zhaochen beat a soul and looked in joy. Steward Zhua, where did you go? We couldn't find you no matter how much we looked. Are you all right? Zhuofan frowned. They did not cross the 3 trials, or maybe. Were they for me? Doesn't everyone have the chance to receive a sovereign's guidance? Whoosh! A shadow appeared and struck for Zhuofan's back. But then a kick sent it flying as Bali Yu flashed on Zhuofan's side. Rejoicing. Zhuofan, you're all right. Yu, did someone tell you about 3 trials? What trials? The minute we entered, lost souls started chasing us down, not bothering to even speak. I just thought they can't speak to begin with, why? Oh, nothing. Zhuofan was grave, further proving that the tests were held for him in particular. Further, the only way to find the Nether Sea was through Sovereign Yun's globe. Then there were the Sovereign's 3 tests. Was this all on purpose? But why? I was a mere demonic emperor before. Is it because I found 9 Serenity's secret records? Zhuofan was confused. Ah! Zhuofan startled awake. Qingqing. Chu Qingqing was still stuck to the cross, unable to move, as the souls shrieked and approached. Qingqing. Yi Xiaofeng shouted as well, yet was happy inside. Great! A damsel in distress in need of a hero. I don't know how she got up there or how she appeared here, but I just have to save her and her heart will be mine, as well as it. Yi Xiaofeng shot for Chu Qingqing, shining silver. A huge figure with 8 swords on its back appeared, almost 1,000 meters tall. A saint's unique ability, sacred body. Damned souls, leave Qingqing alone. The huge image reached for 2 swords and slashed. Boom! Tornadoes flew from the speed and power, and erased everything in their path. Yi Xiaofeng's image towered above like a mighty king. He sneered at everyone with pride and conceit. Well, Qingqing, aren't I cool? Bam! He didn't get to wallow in his narcissistic tendencies, as the following boom was from an even bigger fist hurtling his image through the air. He hit the ground hard and shattered his sacred body. Yi Xiaofeng felt his entire body aching and turned pale. Who did that? Curses, that really hurt. Yi Xiaofeng panted as he strained to look up. Peak Saint? There's a peak saint in the Nether Sea? He actually died. Before him was another colossal image, wearing a dark face of disdain. Ignorant pipsqueak, in the great ancient war. Even sovereigns fell, let alone some lousy peak saints. You dare prance before me, foolish second-layer saint? Yi Xiaofeng's heart sank. The Nether Sea is the Nether Sovereign's domain, so of course there'd be monstrous souls. Chapter 1236, Life and Death. Chapter 1236, Life and Death. Proofreader Papatonks. Saint, what do we do? Zhaochen panicked in the face of such an unstoppable enemy, and rushed to Yi Xiaofeng. Since you're a saint, you should handle it, right? Besides, he's dead while you're alive. Yi Xiaofeng's face twitched, his heart shaking as he found himself stuck, unable to do anything. He was the Sacred Mountain's young master, with lofty cultivation enough to toy with any other fools outside, as none could do the same to him. Here though he couldn't raise his head, for his fist was weaker. Bam! Another boom echoed as the saint's fist came for another blow. Lightning flashed, with the space cracking in places and warmth coming from one hole. That's young energy. Yi Xiaofeng shouted. That's the exit. Use it to leave. Humph, you're right about that. For no matter how hellish the Nether Sea is, a glimmer of hope will always exist. The dark man's hand took out a cup with bamboo sticks, throwing it to the ground. These are life and death omens, with only 10 of 1,000 bearing life. Win and get lost. Lose and you'll stay forever. The group looked grave. With this peak saint taking charge, there was no forcing one's way out. The only choice was to follow his rules, test their luck on those sticks, and hope to get that one slim chance at life. None felt the odds any bit promising. I'll go first. Zhuofan stepped out. Others found this situation a life or death case, while he tried to look beyond it and understand its purpose. Since the sovereign set this up, I should be safe. Without a care, Fan reached out for a stick. The others were tense and grateful. Even Zhao Chen felt admiration for the man. Steward Zhua is a cut above the rest. It's a shame his cultivation is so low, for he excels in everything else. Not everyone can take the pressure of facing imminent death. They were oblivious to the fact that the game was rigged, and he knew it. The stick he chose had the word life written in red. Good sign. Zhao Chen laughed. With just 1% chance he picked life. Steward Zhua's fortune is beyond life, ha ha ha. What fortune? That is a total disaster. Yi Xiaofeng spat. Picking life means our odds just dropped, imbecile. Zhao Chen choked. No one else was eager to try their luck. In the end, Bali Yu finally went for it. The thin stick had a black word on it, death. Bali Yu sighed toward Fan. The others tensing. Life is fortune while death is normal. But will such a blessing fall on me as well? What are the rest of you waiting? The Peak Saint huffed. I take it that you give up and choose to stay in the Nether Sea forever. Yi Xiaofeng glared hard at Zhao Chen, barking, go pick. Since the order wouldn't change anything, Zhao Chen reached out with a shaky hand, picking up a life stick. Zhao Chen was elated and laughed. Yi Xiaofeng's face twitched. Curses, I should have gone instead. Now the odds are lower. Yi Xiaofeng reached out with a trembling hand, sweat trickling down. But then he thought better and pointed at Chu Qingcheng. Wait, what about her? How can she pick one when she's tied up? Her? She caused trouble and was tied up. She'll have to let another pick for her. Her fate is either to live, or to have her soul destroyed here and now, never even able to wander the Nether Sea. What? Everyone gasped. What did she do to deserve such cruel punishment? Zhua Fan understood everything and said nothing. Yi Xiaofeng's eyes shone and picked death. Yi Xiaofeng's horrified face was pale as paper. The Peak Saint cackled. Rotten cretin, how many souls did you kill in the Nether Sea so far? You should have been tied up as well and die at my hand. Now that you chose death, you're dead anyway. His palm flashed with unseen speed. Wait, Yi Xiaofeng shouted. The savage palm halted. Any last words? The stick wasn't for me but for her. Yi Xiaofeng pointed at Chu Qingcheng. Chu Qingcheng shook her head. No, I didn't ask him to pick for me. That stick is his. Yeah, why would you get to pick for her? Because she's my fiancée. I decide everything about her. As if. I'm not your fiancé. Chu Qingcheng denied as she turned to Zhua Fan. Yi Xiaofeng shouted with pride. My sacred mountain supports your master, and she obeys us. You were always meant for me. You have always been my child bride. Everything you have is because of me. You can just ask your master when you go back. No, that just cannot be. Chu Qingcheng shook her head in anger. You're just afraid of dying and are spouting crap. No, he is right. The Peak Saint boomed. You entered with your souls in the Nether Sea and manifested in bodies. In other words, your soul's energy is under the Nether Sea's watchful eye. Any lie you say will be reflected on your own bodies. As there is no reaction from him, this proves it is true. Chu Qingcheng shuddered, hanging her head in disbelief. How could master? Zhua Fan pondered. They know of the sovereign path on her, and they now want it. Well, can I choose for her now? Yes. Ignoring Chu Qingcheng's crushed face, Yi Xiaofeng asked for clarification. Then grinned, having extended his life for a couple more minutes. He now had another chance to actually survive this. So he picked a stick again, far more carefully. Pa! Yi Xiaofeng chose from the middle, and held out the stick with the red word as he cackled. It's life. I picked life. I can return, ha ha ha. You three can return while the women will stay. The Peak Saint spoke. You also have the option to give your stick to another, if you so choose to. TCH, who'd ever pick death over life? That added part is pointless. Zhao Chen sneered. As he looked around, he saw Yi Xiaofeng's savage grin. What are you doing? Nothing, just wish you'd give life to Qingcheng. Yi Xiaofeng spoke evilly. As my fiancé, I have to save her. Screw you. Now you care? What about just now when you used her? Zhao Chen's face twitched, cursing inside. Then he turned to Zhua Fan. Saint, why are you going after me when he also has one? Yeah. Xiaofeng's eyes shone with savagery, setting his sinister smirk on Zhuofan. The peak saint stepped in. Once chosen, only the two doing the exchange may decide. In other words, the one who chooses life must want to, but the one who chooses death must want just as well for the deal to work. TCH, it's obvious for a life chooser. But what's up with a death chooser refusing? Zhao Chen sneered. How do you know they wouldn't want to? The man mocked. Vulgar fools like you can never understand life and death. Have you forgotten that the Nether Sea is watching your souls? Your true intentions will be laid bare regardless of lies. That's why the Nether Sea insists for souls to enter. It's like baring yourself and exposing every aspect of you. Xiaofeng sighed and spat. Zhuofan, weren't you always fond of Qingqing? You should sacrifice yourself for her. No, I changed my mind. Zhuofan chuckled, turning to Bali Yu. I want to give my life to Yu. Chapter 1237, Cleanse. Chapter 1237, Cleanse. Proofreader, Papatonks. What? Everyone was baffled, even Bali Yu by Zhuofan's choice. Didn't he always love Chu Qingqing? Why? Zhuofan walked before Bali Yu and sighed as he gave her the life stick. There's no need for you to stay in hell because of me. Go back. You're giving me life because you owe me? Her big eyes watched him. Zhuofan shook his head. No, that intention might have been before, but now I truly want you to live, just because the heart chooses to. Bali Yu looked at the peak saint with questioning eyes. He is sincere, the saint judged. Bali Yu bit her lip and looked at Chu Qingqing as she held her own death stick. I understand what you're thinking. Even though you want to die, I will respect your decision. Both hearts agree. The deal is concluded. The saint spoke. Zhuofan smiled and patted Bali Yu's shoulder, taking her death stick and walking to Chu Qingqing. Bali Yu's eyes teared up. Xiaofeng was baffled. What's up with them? Why did he yearn for the death stick more than his life? Insatiable fools like you could never understand life and death. The peak saint sneered at them. Then he flashed next to Chu Qingqing and Zhuofan, his huge palm hovering overhead. Having chosen death, this palm shall destroy you. Zhuofan hugged Chu Qingqing with a peaceful expression. Will you regret us dying? It matters not. Not when neither life nor death can part us. Chu Qingqing smiled back, then sighed. I just feel a bit of loss since I don't know where I came from. I had someone look into it. We'll know it soon if we survive. Since death doesn't matter, neither does anything else as I'm with you. Chu Qingqing muttered. Boom! The huge palm slammed down, the two vanishing in a flash of bright light dead. Everyone watched them vanish, then Zhao Chen shrugged. I came to the Nether Sea yet got nothing for my troubles, losing instead my genius aid. Crack. Xiaofeng's clenched his fists. I have it much worse than you. Do you have any idea how much Chu Qingqing was worth? The ancient and fragmented records of the sacred mountains say that she could become a sovereign. It's an utter loss letting her die here in the Nether Sea. I shouldn't have brought her. I thought she might be of help searching for a sovereign's domain. But Xiaofeng flicked his sleeve and left. Bali Yu watched the two vanish with a bitter smile. The peak saint called out before she went as well. Wait. What is it? Bali Yu frowned. Tao is descending and the end of days is nigh. The only hope lies with Zhuofan. Seeing your sincerity towards him, I can trust you. The Nether Sovereign wishes to ask you if you will help him. He's still alive? Bali Yu cheered. Zhuofan and Chu Qingqing appeared back on the stone platform, with the Nether Sovereign watching the couple with a nod. Living fear death. But that is mere regret of the things they have to give up by dying. The things they couldn't do. Letting go of everything makes life and death meaningless. Zhuofan, you passed the last test. Thank you, Sovereign, for your wisdom. Zhuofan bowed. Only aren't you worried that I was certain you wouldn't kill me? The Nether Sovereign raised an eyebrow. Kill you? Did you really think I never thought of it? Except for the 3 guardians. The other testers were Zhu Yifan from your heart, and that peak saint. None of them have ever gone easy on you. By failing to grasp the tyrannical path, you wouldn't have passed the first trial. You took on his fist intent, and while you can't feel it, Your body is in shambles. Any more strikes, and your body would have crumbled and left you in the nether sea forever. Zhuo Fan shuddered from shock. On the second trial, if Zhuo Yifan had won, you wouldn't be you anymore. Your heart would have regressed to the time of being the demonic emperor in sacred domain, with the 100 years of experience in the mortal domain erased. The Nether Sovereign continued. In the third trial, was it really just a game with the Child Sovereign? With your Spirit King soul power? Didn't you find it odd how you still stood after 4 hours of relentless running? The trial strained your mind. Your spirit would have been spent to death if you hadn't understood the path. Gulp. Zhuo Fan's heart froze. He always thought they used different ways of teaching him, not realizing the deadly danger lurking beneath. The Nether Sovereign mocked. The 3 trials and the 5 testers all passed on to you their path while also ready to kill you in the process. Nothing is free in this world. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward, with the reward always in correlation with the price. They were earnest in passing their path to you. That meant holding nothing back, even if it meant ruining everything by killing you. It is the only way to truly invest oneself in teaching, by giving their all so that you can understand them. Just like that last palm, it struck not you, but your heart. Had you not let go of all your worries, even believing to have a lucky break, the palm would have shattered your soul. It had nothing to do with Miss Chu at all. It was all you, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan felt a chill down his spine, realizing with a start just how close he was skirting death. The sovereigns were too playful, hiding death behind their smiles and making me confused. The Nether Sovereign smiled. Rumble. The skies shook hard, the sound slamming into their ears. The Nether Sovereign grew worried and rushed things. Zhuo Fan, once you return, focus on understanding my life and death path, as well as the other 3 paths. It's all up to you to stop the end of days. End of days? Zhuo Fan started, but then a prismatic glow entered him from the Nether Sovereign. The gloomy sky shattered and golden rays shone down from the high heavens. Nether Sovereign shouted, "Go!" The 2 were blown away and vanished from sight. The Nether Sovereign turned to the golden glow above and whistled. The other testers arrived looking grave. Heavenly Sovereign, after all these years, you still managed to force your way in. Ha ha ha, you asked for this, didn't you? The sky let out golden ripples, and a humongous eye appeared with 12 golden rings in its center. It would have been impossible to barge in here with your 4 sovereign paths holding me back. But you had to be suicidal and pass them all on. Suicidal? The first guardian mocked. We've died eons ago. Everyone here is a mere damned soul clinging to their path. How is that suicidal? The huge eye focused on him. Tyrant Sovereign, Shadow Sovereign, Child Sovereign, Nether Sovereign and Rebirth Sovereign. You know yourselves to be damned souls, so why do you keep fighting me? I'm not doing this out of my wish, but for the world's Tao. But your path is frightening. The old fisherman said. The world is of yin and yang, condoning good and evil within its boundaries, without any extremes. All the creatures had the right to live. Heavenly Sovereign mocked. Tao is the foundation of everything in existence, discarded like a rag the minute the demonic path arrived. The world is tainted, no longer caring about Tao. What's terrifying is the demons in humanity. As the Heavenly Sovereign, I shall stand in heaven's stead to enact the Tao by purging all demons. As such, since you're all born of the demonic path, you all must be removed for being opposite of my path. We aren't demonic cultivators but people in coherence with Tao. Nether Sovereign spoke. We seek the good in people, while you can't see right from wrong. Of course we walk different paths. We really are different men on different paths. You want to use the demonic path to fuse the 10 paths, to fight my heavenly path. But all your hopes will be in vain, with your plan in shambles. I will be the one to fuse the paths, and not the one you rest your hopes on. Heavenly Sovereign mocked. Farewell for good old friends. Cleanse. The huge eye shone in 11 golden rings, unleashing a ripple of light. The Nether Sea vanished then and there, despite the Nether Sovereign's calm face. Heavenly Sovereign, you will fail. Our paths shall bear witness. Chapter 1238, Emperor Stage. Chapter 1238, Emperor Stage. Proofreader Papatonks. Whoosh! A shadow flitted beneath the blazing sun, before slamming into Zhuofan's body. He shook and coughed blood. Senior Nether Sovereign was right. I couldn't feel it, but my body is a wreck from Senior Tyrant Emperor's punches. Feeling sharp pain from everywhere, Zhuofan sighed. Those seniors went all out when it came to passing their path, going as far as killing me if they had to. Big brother Zhua. A cry came. Great, your soul is back. That he Xiaofeng and Zhaoqin came back before, and said you and sister Qingqing died in Nether Sea. You gave me such a fright. Thank heaven sister Yu came after, and said that you'd wake up. Zhuofan looked at Shuang'er and her smile. Then he looked around, but all he found was Luo clansmen. Where are the others in Qingqing? Ruby Cloud sect group heard of sister Qingqing's passing, and took her body. Demonic Emperor. And that he Xiaofeng didn't even look at you as they left. Shuang'er smiled. Zhuofan nodded. Those two only care about themselves and no one else. Since my soul returned, Qingqing's must be back as well. That he punk might try forcing himself on her after finding out she's alive. What a shame I couldn't get rid of him in the Nether Sea. Zhuofan sighed and looked around. Where's Yu? I don't see her. You finally think about her. Shuang'er squinted at him. Sister Yu said she has something to do, and won't be back to the clan for a while. Something? What can she do when she isn't even familiar with sacred domain? Zhuofan frowned, but gave up trying to figure it out. He knew her character, and she should be fine. Then let's go back. She must have her own plans. Should we tell Demonic Emperor? Why bother? Zhuofan's eyes shone coldly. I've earned much from the Nether Sea and will use them to advance. I don't have time for anything else. When I come out, I'll settle the score with those geezers, Humph. The others nodded and looked ready to fight. After these calm years, Steward Zhua is ready to strike the 8 emperors. 3 months later, Zhuofan was in a private room in the Luo clan's manor, having entered it the minute he arrived. Luo Yunchang and the others were left hanging, their cordial mood gone. Danqing Shun and the oldies nodded. He must have gotten something from the Nether Sea. I should have went as well, ha ha ha. Yeah, it must be something great by the looks of his hurry. They were envious. My, that's a supreme expert's domain for you, filled with riches. The kid is so biased, taking just 2 girls with him to hide his strength. We really missed out. The others nodded. Zhuofan ignored all the chatter coming from outside, and set up a defensive array, before sitting cross-legged on the bed with eyes closed to ponder all that happened in the Nether Sea. The Tyrant Emperor's fist, Zhu Yifan's fight, the Child Sovereign's movements, that Peak Saint's attack, and the Nether Sovereign's final warning. Each even flowed through his mind as his energy surged higher and higher. Yuan Qi flooded his meridians with astonishing speed, covering every nook and cranny. Buzzing came from Zhuofan's body as he released prismatic glows. The array had no way of stopping the lights, passing through them, and coloring the heavens. What's that? The chatty group outside gasped, watching the sky shining in rainbow colors. Their cries soon died out as the light fell on them, and provided warmth and comfort. Danqing Shun's heart thumped, his voice shaky. Please watch over me, I'm advancing. He rushed into his room, and sat down at once to use the prismatic glow, to reach the Emperor stage. Curses, that's my line. Morong Lai was also frantic as he went to his room. I'm advancing too. I leave the guarding to you, brothers. You think we're any different? Let's leave guarding to whomever feels like it, cause I won't. Ouyang Lingtian went as well. How sly, advancing by yourselves. What about us? Yeah, we're in the same boat. This is a truly rare chance we cannot miss. Yeah, let's just all advance then and no one guards. All of the Luo clan in the city felt something from the prismatic glow above, their strength soaring. None had time for anything else, whether patrolling or guarding, as they vanished into their rooms to close their eyes. The entire city of hundreds of thousands became quiet as a ghost town, with not even a breeze passing. What's going on? Bailey Jingtian looked at the astonishing scene with a smirk. Thunder Sword King. This is our chance. They're all gone and Zhuofan has no one protecting him. Let's go in and kill him for our empire. Silence was his only answer. Bailey Jingtian looked around to find Bailey Yule gone like the rest. You're also, Bailey Jingtian raged. As a Sword Star Empire Sword Kings, haven't we been tagging with Zhuofan for the chance to kill him? Humph, useless. I'll just have to do it myself. Bailey Jingtian stomped ahead. He only got to make 2 steps, as his eyes glazed over under the prismatic light show. His rage faded and calm was restored. The grudge is fading, but why? I feel like cultivating, knowing that I'll advance if I do. I can't miss this chance. Bailey Jingtian plopped down then and there to meditate. The prismatic lights danced above over everyone's heads, enlightening them. None of the citizens missed this chance to cultivate. Boom! With a large explosion, a draconic cry sounded. Danqing Shun's dragon soul soared out, and shone golden alongside a 300-meter-long sword. He actually formed his imperial mark so soon. His power surged wildly, growing exponentially. He entered Emperor stage under the prismatic light, yet didn't stop. Boom! Following Danqing Shun were tens of other auras booming all over the town, and unleashing their golden aura into the skies. Morong Lai and the others advanced as well. Luo Yunhai and the Luo clan's young guards reached the Spirit King stage. Luo Sifin and the juniors jumped 2 whole stages, to the Genesis stage. Everyone was overjoyed and amazed. Even with the incredible spiritual energy of the sacred domain, wasn't this still too fast? The only explanation was the mystical prismatic light coming from Zhuofan's room. They knew it had to be incredible. Cultivating under such a light was paradise. So they kept going despite having advanced, for the multicolored lights called to them, and whispered deep secrets of the world, that made their yuan qi soar. Chapter 1239, Dragons Come Knocking. Chapter 1239, Dragons Come Knocking. Proofreader, Papatonks. Elder, up ahead is the Luo clan's base. Whoosh! A dozen people streaked the clear sky and landed, with a muscled man in his 30s leading them as he pointed in the direction of the prismatic glow. We receive word from Gambling Town that the clan is refining a sword from a dragon scale is over there. The old man next to him gasped. What is that? Another elder with red hair frowned. In all my 32 millennia, I've never seen such an event anywhere in sacred domain. The whole world knows that any who refines a weapon with my race shall feel our wrath. But this clan just pranced around with their dragon sword without fear. Does someone have their back? Yeah. Another elder with black hair stepped forward, his eyes flashing. Something doesn't feel right. The Luo clan doesn't look like much but does unusual things. Their location is also under some baffling phenomenon. Stay cautious. The others nodded. The muscled man sneered, then came over with a bow. Elders Bai Long, Qi Long, Hei Long, you're overreacting. Isn't that just a rainbow? I heard they have demonic Emperor Zhaoqin's protection. How is that a strong backing? Moreover, the most they could ever get to side with them are the 7 sacred mountains. But would those old guys dare mess in our affairs? We don't fear even 3 of those mountains working together. As for all 7, Bai Long pondered. It never hurts to play it safe. Humans are treacherous and cunning. What if it's the 7 sacred mountains attempt to taunt us into waging war? Never forget their constant taunts 500,000 years ago over the Fountain of Youth, making our race suffer heavy casualties as we relinquished that precious area. We were lucky that our die-hard resolution scared them off, thinking we'd take them down with us, and didn't suffer further needless losses. For the same reason, we need to be extremely careful against the sudden clan taunting us out of nowhere. Remember the past. The others nodded, with the muscled man saying, should we test them? We'll have to reconsider if an expert is among them. Otherwise, I alone am more than enough to waste them. I don't fear even the 8 emperors, let alone this puny clan. A dragon's pride can't be tarnished. Those humans are looking down on us. The 3 elders nodded. The muscled man perked up and bowed before shooting forward. Before he even got close, the sudden boom scared him. A draconic cry announced the rise of a prismatic dragon, as it unleashed a golden aura. The dragons split into 5, each with its own color. They circled in the sky and released black energy in the form of a hole. As the golden auras converged, the dragons intertwined their heads and tails to form the frame of a black mirror. This was Zhuofan's imperial mark, the heaven-devouring wraith mirror. The black mirror fell in Zhuofan's room and vanished, followed by the disappearance of the prismatic lights. Everyone else shot their eyes open, looking at the clear sky and sighing with disappointment. Where did the lights go? Couldn't it last a bit longer? We haven't had enough. After they checked their cultivation, their joy shot higher than the sorrow. All had grown by a large margin. Danqing Shun, Morong Lai and the other oldies were now peak emperors. Even 8 emperors were nothing to them now. As inheritors of the Sword Sovereign, and having gone through Zhuofan's 4 sovereign paths baptism, the 8 emperors were like children now. Even those chosen from the sacred mountains couldn't compare in foundation with them. For heaven's sake! I told you it was a rainbow. The muscled man calmed himself as he said, that was a human forming his imperial mark. Why did he have a dragon soul? Curses! The punk stole our dragon power to form his soul. How did he do it under our watch? The muscled man was puzzled, but then he shot at the city in rage. A mere human not only stole our dragon power, but even used us for a weapon. They must all die. His berserk roar caused the cheerful Danqing Shun and others to flinch. They focused on the muscled man charging into their city. Puny Luo clan, you have some nerve. I will obliterate you all. Peak Emperor power was unleashed, flooding the city with his bloodthirst. The Luo clan would have been hard-pressed against such a mighty foe for sure, 2 days ago that is. But now the Luo clan's spirit kings were peak emperors. An emperor making a scene here? Nothing but a trifle. Where did this guy come from? He's got spunk. Danqing Shun whispered to the others. Morong Lai beamed, filled with battle spirit. With such a perfect test subject showing up, why not use him to hone our newfound emperor strength? Agreed. Everyone nodded with devious grins. Even Bailey Yulei got excited. But first form a line. We can't have anyone hog him. Like usual then. Morong Lai grinned at Li Jingtian. Luo clan's original venerables go first then us ha ha ha. Don't mind if we do ha ha ha. Li Jingtian cupped his hands, filled with battle lust as he shot for the city limit. I'm your opponent. The muscled guy nodded. Peak Emperor good. I didn't think a tiny clan would have one. A shame you're a human. Us dragons are tens of times stronger than you, Humph. You're a dragon. Li Jingtian gasped, then grew thrilled at the challenge. Awesome. I can go all out then. Come again. They say dragons have the strongest bodies. I'm also a body cultivator, so let's dance. Li Jingtian laughed and shot for the muscled guy with a punch covered in black energy. Bam! A savage shockwave spread outward, causing the space to warp. Li Jingtian's punch landed in the guy's outstretched hand, unleashing a violent wind. His body shuddered under the mighty force. The muscled guy gasped. I didn't know humans could train their bodies to such a degree. A real shame, though, that you're just a human. No amount of training could ever help to win against dragons. Boom! The muscled man shook his hand and shot Li Jingtian back for a dozen steps. His eyes were filled with shock and thrill. Dragons are so powerful. Old Li, use your imperial mark. You're no beast, so don't try meeting one with just your body. We humans use martial arts to our advantage. A shout roused Li Jingtian from his frenzy. Qiu Yanhai. The others nodded. The muscled man mocked. Your friend's right. A mere human could never best dragons in raw power. That's why you humans are so prideful in the imperial mark. Dying before taking it out, I would send you off in tears, ha ha ha. Those below are counting on you to protect them with the imperial mark. What the hell do you know? They're urging me so I'd finish fast, and they'll get a shot. Especially those sword kings. Once they get here, you won't stand a chance, even as a dragon. Those are the real monsters here. You're nothing but a freak of nature. Li Jingtian took a deep breath and made a sign, using the imperial mark he just formed. He came to test himself. But this guy was actually waiting for him to show his best. Don't you know where you are? This is the Luo clan, home of monsters and devils. Those below can't wait to chew you up and spit you back out. Chapter 1240. Are they human? Chapter 1240. Are they human? Proofreader Papatonks. Imperial Mark Heaven-Crushing Black Dragon. Squinting, Li Jingtian finished making signs and shouted. With a flash of golden, a huge black dragon coiled around an equally large seal high in the sky. Li Jingtian pointed and with a draconic roar, the sea smashed towards the muscled guy. The space around it shook and warped from its power. The muscled guy widened at its incredible power and raised a growing arm. Bam! The arm of a peak emperor dragon slammed into the martial fanatic Li Jingtian, sending shockwaves on impact. Yet none faltered back. The space was the one taking the brunt of their relentless power, with constant ripples flashing out. The muscled guy's eye twitched in shock. It amazed him how Li Jingtian had the strength to match his. It was said a human's imperial mark was unstoppable, just like a spiritual beast's tough body. He, however, was a dragon, and ending a fight with a human in a draw would only bring him disgrace. The muscled guy's face turned red. Crack! His body shook and his eyes grew bigger as sweat dripped down. He strained as he pushed harder, and sent the mark back. Li Jingtian shuddered and coughed blood. You win this round, but the next one is mine. You're not bad yourself. It's the first time a human of equal level broke my arm. He looked at his shaking right arm and said, Too bad there's no second round. I can still fight even with a broken arm. But you've suffered a heavier wound, weakening your imperial mark and dooming your fate. With you gone, the Luo clan will have no expert defending it, ha ha ha. Li Jingtian gave him a dumb look and flew down. I'm not the Luo clan's true defender. I just dropped by for a spar and not to die. Besides, there are plenty of others that can clobber you. There's just the matter of making sure those freaks don't kill you, so I can have my fill sparring with you. Li Jingtian turned to Qiu Yanhai. Your turn. Old Li, what's up with going all out in a spar? It's not about your wounds but breaking his arm. Won't my spar be one-sided, without going all out even? Stop with the bragging. One hand is enough for him to take you on. Now go. Li Jingtian sighed. The muscled guy was baffled. There's another one stronger around? The Luo clan must be something else to have two of peak emperors. The muscled guy couldn't believe his ears, only accepting it when Qiu Yanhai flew before him. Qiu Yanhai smiled and bowed. After you. Humph. You must be dreaming thinking you can beat me with two peak emperors. Your only chance is to come at me together, instead of dying by challenging me alone. The muscled guy charged. It was clear the possibility of having both peak emperors ganging up on him had him on edge. He wanted to end this fast. It really was a quick spar. 3 minutes later, Qiu Yanhai huffed with a pale face, and was bleeding from the mouth. He saluted. Dragons are indeed strong. I lost. The muscled guy's face twitched, downcast as he stared at his singed palm. Screw your loss. He's as strong as the first guy. Now my other arm is ruined. What the hell is up with the Luo clan? How did they get two experts at the level of 8 emperors? At least there isn't a third one showing up. Hey, who's next? Qiu Yanhai's question had his heart shivering. Whoosh! A figure in white flashed over Shui Qingjian. She glanced at his ruined hands and snapped at Qiu Yanhai. Wasn't this a spar? Why go all out like Old Li? How am I to train against a handicapped adversary? I can't gauge my imperial mark like this. Sorry, honey. It was in the heat of the moment, hee. Qiu Yanhai gave a goony smile. Train? You're using me for a punching bag? The muscled guy noticed Shui Qingjian at peak emperor stage and cried out. Just how many emperors do you have? All of them here. Shui Qingjian pointed at the group below, and they all flew up, with dozens at peak power among the hundreds. The dreadful maelstrom of auras had the muscled guy's face twitching. Curses! Damn fakers! What are you doing siding with the 8 emperors at your level? You could just thrash them and take everything. That's why you challenged us. You have the power. But we've come prepared and won't fail. The muscled guy roared. The people started and saw his smug smile. Humph, no matter how many you are, you'll all die. I didn't come alone. There's 24 peak experts beside the 3 elders. Each of them is as strong as me. None of you will survive this. What? The group shouted. The muscled man smirked, scared. Awesome. More sparring partners, ha ha ha. The group cheered in excitement and thrill of battle. The muscled guy was dumbstruck. Hey, have you lost it? Our elders are saints. We also have 24 peak emperors. What's there to laugh about? We're so excited since you came right as we became emperors to test ourselves, ha ha ha. Moronglai sighed. We thought of taking you with us to spar since you're a peak emperor stage dragon. Since dragons are far stronger than humans, and should meet our standards. Alas, look how you ended up after just 2 bouts. You're no training material at all. To test ourselves we need saints. Of course we'd be excited with your elders coming over. But how do we split them? There's just 3 of them. Wine Sword Immortal posed a very good question. Dan Xingshan said, Dragon Saints can't be normal. We'll have to go 3 or 4 against 1. So there's no need to take turns. The Sword Kings nodded. Leave the strongest to me for a while. The group turned to find Sword Child there as well. I'm Dad's sword and reached peak emperor stage thanks to his inspiration. A couple of dragon saints aren't a problem to me. Just leave them to me when you find it too tough to go on. Their eyes twitched and gave him a nasty look. We won't give you the chance. Young master can just watch from the sidelines. Stubborn fools. Sword Child turned his head away. The muscled guy had a dumb stare. Are these guys human? We came to destroy them, yet they take us for training partners? Are they that strong? The muscled guy's beliefs crumbled then and there. What's wrong with today's generation? Since when did humans become stronger than dragons? Whoosh. Dozens of figures appeared, with the 3 dragon elders in the lead. Elder Bailong said, What happened? Did you meet an expert and call for help? The muscle guy's lip shook, raising his ruined arms, and pointed at the hundreds of people in front. The elders gasped. Why are there so many emperors? It's like an 8 emperors faction. No, not even they have so many peak emperors. SSS. The elders shuddered, their spine tingling under the gaze of 10 people locking onto them like prey. What did we get ourselves into? Wait. Since when did humans look at dragons like that? We're dragon saints too. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.